I said, well, every morning when we were married and that, I always had the first shower and Linda followed on. And I used to write in the steam on the mirror, I heart Linda, kiss, kiss, kiss. I said, she's been gone 12 years now, and I've done that every day since. Wow. I heart Linda in the steam on the mirror every morning now. I wrote this on the first day, the funeral. The afternoon of the funeral. I went on the sands and had a walk just to clear my head. I wrote you messages in the sand, remembering when times were really grand. The tide came in and washed it all away. Just as in your passing, sadly, I had no say. Because I wrote, I love Linda, kiss, kiss, kiss in the sand, and the tide came in and washed it all away.
So, Gerry, amazingly, we've got you back. We've got you back, and we've got halfway through your amazing story. And I sort of feel like we've saved the best to the second half.
Yeah,
I really
fully agree.
Like, I couldn't believe a lot of the stuff you said in the first half, but this half, yeah, we've got your career, the love of your life, the process of marrying her, having children, and everything else that comes after that. And I can't wait to dive into it and find out more. I really can't. For those that didn't watch the first half,
watch the first half.
Definitely watch the first half. 100%.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. Or you miss out.
Definitely don't miss it.
Sorry.
But your life so far got us up to when you met your incredible wife.
Yep.
And you was just
She was incredible to me anyway, wasn't she?
And that's what matters.
Thing.
That's what matters, Gerry, 100%. Like, you'd hope the person you marry, you feel like they are incredible, because you've definitely not met the right person.
I thought that all along.
Yeah.
I still write I heart Linda in the steam on the mirror every morning now.
Oh, I love
21 years later.
Wow.
Because there's a story about that.
Oh.
I'll just add it now. Now it's got to mention. I was in London, in Glastonbury, doing a favour for Deborah, talking to a lady who wanted to know about self-publishing. I met her in the cafe where at the time Deborah was is it a barista or what they call it?
Oh, yeah.
I stood in for her once as well. That was pathetic, but still. And this lady and I chatted. She didn't know me from a bar of soap. Mm-hmm. And when we'd finished, she said, Gerry, may I just ask you a question? I said, yeah, of course you can. She said, I'm a spiritualist. Okay. I'm a medium, she said. I went, oh, right. She said, yes, and I'd like to ask you, not too personal, I hope, what happens in your bathroom every morning?
No.
And I said, sorry? She said,
what
happens in your bathroom every morning? I said, well, I go in there, clean my teeth, have a shave, have a shower, go and get ready. Simple as that.
Yeah.
No, she said, I can't accept that. I'm sorry, but I know something different happens. I said, well, I can assure you it doesn't.
Yeah.
I said, if it does, it's passed me by. And then I said, well, hang on. There is one thing, but I suppose it's not relevant. She said, what is it? I said, well, every morning when we were married and that, not from the beginning, but later in life, I always had the first shower and Linda followed on. And I used to write in the steam on the mirror, I heart Linda, kiss, kiss, kiss. Right. I said, yeah. I said, and it's about 12 years had gone by then. I said, she's been gone 12 years now. And I've done that every day since.
Wow.
She said, I knew. She said, I knew there was a lady in your bathroom every morning when you were there enjoying herself. And I went, no.
Wow.
The hair stood up on my neck.
It is me already, yeah.
Can't be. And she said, yes. I said, oh, right. Okay, thanks. I'll remember that when I do it again. And I've carried on doing it now for 21 years.
You still do it?
Yeah, 21 years I do it still.
Oh,
wow,
that's incredible.
Yep. And in fact, you know what happens when you do that regularly on your mirror, even though you clean it off and everything.
It
stays there.
Yeah.
You do it in the same spot?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'm slightly out because you can see two L's or whatever.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah. And that was the second time something like that had happened.
Is it?
What, with
Yes.
someone spiritual?
Yes, the
approach,
first
yeah.
time I'd gone to, Deborah and I and Linda and I, we always went to Wells. It's my favourite city.
Mm-hmm.
We always went to Wells. We always went in the cathedral, and we always went in the refectory. So we did that every time we were in Wells. On my own now, Deborah was at home, was back in Glastonbury. I was in Wells, and I went and had a coffee and a scone. And I thought, I'll have a walk around the cathedral just for old times' sake. I know it inside out.
Yeah.
Sheridan's wife's there and everything. And just by there was a walled garden where we used to go and sit, only because the toilets, and when Deborah was like 10, 11, 12 and all that, she used to go to these toilets across this walled garden. So I thought, I'll go in there. And you come off the corridor with a door. As I opened the door, the hairs on my neck all stood on end. And I thought, phew, Linda's here.
No.
Wow.
Anyway, I thought, gosh, calm down. So I sat down, and as I was sat there, I was looking back on when we'd all, because I sat in the very seat that Linda and I used to sit in while Deborah ran across the grass to go to the loo. And I thought, I could write a poem about this. I know. I've no pen, no paper. I got my mobile phone, and I only use one of those little Nokias.
I've seen it. It's
Yeah.
tiny.
Yep. So I got it out, and into drafts, I wrote this poem about this situation of walking into this walled garden and Linda being there. Thought nothing of it. Thought I'll type it up when I get home. Yeah. As it happens, I was going to the coffee bar where Deborah worked because she was on holiday. That was it. She was away, and the owner couldn't get somebody to do her shift.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'll do it. She said, oh, I can't afford to pay you. I said, I don't want any money. I said, I'll do it for nothing. I said, just give Deborah a couple of quid extra if you want to. I said, but she won't mind. She won't know. I'll do it. Would you mind? I went, no, of course not. So I went back from Wells into Glastonbury, into the cafe. And as I walk in, two ladies followed me in. And Deborah taught me before she went. I don't know why she taught me. She just did. And so it was lucky. That's why I was able to say, I'll do it, because I wouldn't know how to run a coffee machine. I wasn't very good as it was. But still, these two ladies came in and they sat. It was a narrow entrance opening out into a larger area for eating and drinking. And they sat right opposite where I was. Can I help you? Yeah. Whatever they wanted, I got it already, gave it them. And that was that. Half an hour later, the owner, Emma, came in, knew these two ladies. Hello there.
Yeah.
Vicky, Adam, okay. Two ladies this time, yeah. Chatting to them. And then she says, pointing to me, turning to me and saying, because they're only sat like over there from me.
Yeah.
Bet you don't know who this is, you see. And one of the ladies said, no, I don't, but I'm intrigued. So Emma said, are you? She said, yes. So Emma said, it's Deborah's dad. And this lady said, I knew it. She said, I kept looking at him thinking, I bet this is related to the Deborah who serves us normally. Anyway,
Wow.
so it was, so she was quite pleased. End of the story for the moment.
Yeah.
So we had a chat, a bit of a laugh. As she's going, she comes to pay. And she said, same words as this other lady used, I'm a medium. Would you mind me telling you something? So I said, no, not at all. She said, well, all the time I've been in here, she said, there's a lady stood at your shoulder, smiling.
Gerry.
And I said, no. What do you say to that? I went, no. So I thought, well, I'll make a bit of a joke of it. And I looked and I went, I can't see her.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, you won't see her. She said, but I can tell you, she stood at your shoulder, smiling away. Oh. And I went, oh. I said, I guess it must be Linda, thinking, how the heck can he run a coffee bar? He can't do anything at home. Yeah, so it's happened twice.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's happened
That just
twice.
goes to show.
And that was the day I'd written the poem about it,
Wow.
which was ironic as well.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
shows she's always with you. Probably
Yeah, funny.
even here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny, isn't it? Yeah.
That's amazing.
I hope she's not there all the time, but,
Well,
No.
yeah, nice story. Yes.
No,
It's lovely,
absolutely.
that.
And that sort of leads us on to perfectly
Go on.
the wedding. Like, how you proposed.
Oh.
and how you got married, because you know we've heard a lot about her in the first half, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about her in this half. But
Yeah.
I just want to know how you proposed and the actual wedding day. How did you get married?
Well, it was ironic in a way because it wasn't what we'd planned.
The wedding?
No.
The proposal?
No, the proposal was, well, it was just normal, really. I think I'd said that I'd watched Hampshire scoring 100 in a shop, and then I thought, it's about time I asked if Linda was married.
I do, yeah.
So I asked her in Putney High Street, and she said yes. I said, right, we'll go and get a ring on Monday.
Yeah.
We went to Beaverbrooks in Westminster Bridge Road.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the ring, if I remember rightly, was £12.50. That's how prices were then. It wasn't the most diamante, blinking, diamond studded ring, but it was
She
nice.
loved it.
Enough,
And
yeah, she loved it.
quite liked it. So that was a proposal. So from there, we started planning, and we started even at the next Ideal Home exhibition at Earl's Court. We bought our furniture.
Right.
The firm, I've forgotten the name of them, but they were very good stuff, really good, said it was on offer. And we said, well, we're not getting married probably for 18 months. Oh, don't worry, we'll have some ready for you when you're ready. So we bought our furniture and that. And every Friday, we used to go down to Woolworths at Victoria, who had a nice range of crockery in those days. I still see it knocking about now, but it's quite expensive now because it's a 60s collectible.
Oh,
Yeah.
Antique.
Yeah. So we went down and bought a piece each time and things like that and started gathering stuff. And we decided we didn't want a big wedding. We'll get married in a registry office.
Right.
You know, both of us suited us. We both said, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, Linda
You
and
weren't
Nancy,
living together at this point?
Pardon?
Then? You weren't living together
we
at
never
this
lived
point?
together beforehand.
Okay. Because that was like the norm back then, wasn't it? You didn't really live together.
No, it was. It was
Yeah.
unusual to do that, wasn't it? But
Yeah.
unlike now.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying, I might as well say this because I'm not saying we didn't sleep together.
No.
Yeah.
We did on 2 or 3 occasions when my mum and dad went away and Linda came and stayed with me. But we didn't have sex or anything like that.
Wow.
I know that sounds ridiculous, but
Not-
it's a fact.
Well, that's how it was back then, though,
It
wasn't
is.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
virgin and Linda was a virgin when we got married. Simple as that.
Oh.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah.
Not like these days.
No.
Very, very different.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's not that we didn't have any fun or anything, but
No.
we
No,
just
of
didn't
course.
go the whole hog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both of us agreed, all right, we'll wait, you
Yeah.
know.
It's
Well,
romantic, that
Love
is.
it.
Really
One-
nice.
One time, Linda came and stayed for the weekend, and my mum and dad were there, and they were going to work, or so I thought. And Linda had slept on the settee in the lounge. And when they'd gone, we took a day off. We were going to Kew Gardens. We took a day off. I went and got Linda up. I said, hey, come and sleep in our
a little
bed for a
cuddle.
while, you know. So we did. We just had a kiss and a cuddle and everything and enjoyed it very much. And when we got up and came into the lounge,
I know what you're
yeah,
saying.
you know what's coming. It was obvious that my dad had returned. Yeah.
Was your hair a bit flustered?
Oh.
It was obvious that my dad had returned. So I didn't think I panicked, but I thought, my goodness, what's my dad going to say now? Do you know, he never said a word. He's very
nice.
broad-minded. My dad was very broad-minded. He never said a word. Yeah. But Linda was panic-stricken. What will he think? You know, oh, don't worry, I said. And I said, my dad's very broad-minded. I don't think he'll bother.
Yeah.
And he never said a word. No.
Oh.
So those were the 2 occasions. We even went to on holiday to Polperro and booked in. We told the lady we were engaged, which we were, but we'd not got the ring.
Right.
So we told her we were engaged. And we slept in different bedrooms all the time. Yeah.
Honestly.
I don't know why. We should have, perhaps. But we didn't. We slept in different bedrooms all the time we were there.
Wow.
It was a great time. 3 miles outside of Polperro. We walked it every day. And we used to sing down the lanes as we walked back. I've got a photo somewhere of Linda singing as we're coming down. Yeah.
Oh.
But so the wedding then, Linda goes home and tells her mum. And her mum goes up the wall.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. You're my only daughter. I don't want you getting married in registry office. I want a church wedding. I want a white wedding and everything.
Yeah.
You get your dad give you away and everything, you see. So, of course, Linda, a little bit panic-stricken at going to tell me that the plans are going to have to be changed. But I took it in my stride. Vicky and I were talking on the way here about how we accept things now rather than flare up or whatever.
Absolutely.
And I went, well, there's nothing we can do. I said, I only want to make one point, because I'm not saying we were paupers, don't get me wrong, but my mum and dad had no spare money because we were paying rent in London, and so they couldn't afford to contribute to it. So I went to Linda's mum and dad and said, look, there's only one problem with all this. My mum and dad won't be able to contribute anything, you see. And in fairness to them, as true London East End couple, they went, absolutely no problem. We'll see to the whole bill.
Wow, amazing.
Incredible.
And they were amazing. They were brilliant. I liked her mum and dad, but they weren't my kind of people particularly. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a pub goer and a clubber and all that.
Yeah.
They were.
Right.
They loved it, because Linda used to tell me the stories of standing outside pubs with a bag of crisps and a bottle of lemonade
While
while
they're
they went
partying
in
it
for a
up.
drink. Yeah. So whether the attraction with me was that I didn't drink,
Yeah.
I don't think so, but you know what I mean. So she was...
Did Linda drink or?
well, she did. She liked her gin and tonic,
like gin
martini. She liked gin and tonic, martini. She wouldn't touch whiskey, brandy or anything like that. And she'd drink very, very occasionally. She once had one of, my mum being a barmaid, made her a Pimm's #1 on one occasion. And we went home and Linda was laid out on the lounge floor. I'm never having one of your mum's Pimm's again. Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah, funny. Yeah, so they were very good about it, said no problem. And in fairness, they laid on the most fantastic do that was possible. It was a typical East End knees up wedding.
Oh, nice. In a
Our
church?
relations came down from Blackpool,
Yeah.
and we were living at that time in Chiswick. Yeah, we were living in Chiswick at that time, and we hired a coach to take everybody down because they'd have never found the way to the East End. They didn't like driving in London anyway. I learnt to drive in London, so it made no difference to me.
Yeah.
I've got two modes of driving now. I've got a London mode and a Blackpool mode where you just swan along.
What's the London mode? Is it like, get out?
Yeah. 40 miles an
I
hour.
was like, get out of my...
When I was in the Chancellor's office, I had a parking space and drove to work for 3 years, 50 miles an hour down Knightsbridge.
No.
Yeah. Because once the lights changed, you're away.
You've got to go.
And if you didn't,
you stuck.
Peep, 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 peep.
Yeah.
Get a
Very
move
true.
on. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
I've only drove once in London, and
we've never again.
My friends were the same.
Yeah.
They used to come down and say, how the heck do you put up with this? Well, I knew no different.
No,
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
Because the first night I went out with my dad, the very first night, Linda was going to learn to drive. And we set off from our place and we turned a road, and I didn't turn quick enough. So my dad had to grab the wheel and turn the wheel in case I ran into the parked car. That put Linda off completely. She said, take me home. I don't want to learn to drive. I'm not bothered. And she got out. She never drove again. She never got in. No, she never drove. No. Anyway, that day, we're driving down Chiswick, with Turnham Green Terrace, and traffic was chaotic and I couldn't get out of it. We ended up in a massive jam on Hammersmith Bridge, and my dad was amazed that I managed to cope. When we got home, he said to me, Mum, I don't know how he did it, but it looked like he'd been driving for years and I'd never touched the car until that time. Anyway, so off we go to the East End. Massive do, knees up, everything you wanted, and they didn't let anybody pay for anything.
Oh, wow.
All the drinks were on them, everything. It was a fantastic do.
Was it in a church? Yeah.
Yeah.
What can you still remember the first moment you turned around and saw Linda?
Yeah.
What was the feeling?
I can. I think I just thought, fantastic, she's all mine now. I'm okay. Yeah. I can, we can go home together. Yeah, because we'd always parted, and her living up in the east and me in the west. I was saying to Vicky, I used to sprint down Bethnal Green Road, get the last tram, the last tube, so as I could get back to the west. Otherwise, I was stymied. Yeah, and sometimes I panicked and thought, get a move on. Yeah. But and she had to be in, Linda's mother, because when we got married, I had to get a letter from her mum and dad for the priest to say that they could marry us.
Yeah.
And she had to be in by 11 o'clock every night when we were out.
Wow.
She didn't. And if we were canoodling, because they lived in a little 3-story block of council flats, if we were canoodling down in the foyer down below, the door would open up 2 floors up. Linda! Yeah. Honestly. Hey, you better go, Lynn.
How old was you both at that point then when you got married?
Linda was not 19.
Right.
I was not 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
People got married young back then, didn't they?
Is that young, do you think?
One
of my regrets, I don't suppose it's a regret really. Why, when I knew, and I think Linda was of similar mind, that I wanted to marry her from day one, why didn't we do it much sooner? We were courting from April 1965 to February 1968.
Yeah.
I think the reason was we'd got no money.
Yeah.
Because neither of us had planned this.
Yeah.
We'd got no money and nowhere to live. And then a house came up. It was for sale originally in Turnham Green, £100,000 in 1967.
£100,000?
Yes.
That's expensive back then, isn't
Yes.
it? Very.
Do you know what it's now?
I bet it's like 2.2 or something.
5 million.
Is it?
Well, it's a Norman Shaw designed house in Turnham Green, which is the first garden suburb of London.
Wow.
So it's 5 million now. I only know because one of my bookseller mentors lives down the road and he's told me that that's the going rate now, at least.
That's
Yeah. Anyway, we couldn't afford that. Oh, even 100,000 then. We thought about it because there were it was in 3 flats and the top flat was already let and you had to honour that. And it was an old lady. She was very nice in the end. And we had the middle floor. My mum and dad, who were quite happy to move from where they were, had the bottom floor.
Okay.
So that was fine.
Yeah.
But even if we'd pooled our resources, and I'm glad we didn't, because I may not have come home if that was the case.
Yeah.
Because if you're on a mortgage with a house and with your mum and dad, say, you can't just walk out and go, I'm going home.
Yeah.
You'd have 5 million though.
Well, it wasn't worth it that then, but it would have been worth probably one. Yeah.
But we wouldn't have got you on this podcast, so if anything, it was certainly worth moving back just for that.
Well, me too, to make your friendship. It's been brilliant, let's be
amazing.
honest. I've loved every minute of it.
Thanks, Gerry. Appreciate that.
I just hope people who listen to us hope that they quite like it.
Can we just say though, we've already had, haven't we, in the gym, people approach saying that they've enjoyed already the part 1.
Yes.
And didn't you say people from
Los Angeles and California?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
over the
Gerry's,
waters.
Yeah.
Los Angeles and California that they've come in because the guy from California, a great mate of mine on Goodreads, admired my T-shirt. He said, I'm a T-shirt aficionado.
I was going to say about your T-shirt.
Oh, this is another one. I thought I better put a good one on for him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If he watches the next part, he might think, cool.
Definitely.
I don't want to wear the same. So that was the wedding and everything.
Yeah.
And we had 2 weeks off from the office. They gave you marriage leave.
Yeah.
Gerry, I've just got a question. Did you have a first dance? Was that a thing?
Yes, we did.
What was your song?
Do you know, I have no idea.
You're joking. With your memory?
You remember everything.
I have no idea. Well, I was so on a high.
Yeah, to be fair, with the wedding and stuff,
we didn't even eat.
We didn't eat any food at our wedding.
I can't remember eating much.
No,
we ate nothing.
You're talking to people, you're enjoying each other, and you just.
I can't remember eating much, and neither of us drank.
No.
We were perfectly sober when we got home,
Yeah.
No, we weren't.
Yeah.
We had a pizza at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. But we had the best. And that was a good thing about the way that we did it, because obviously we got married in Barbados, and then we had like a reception.
Straight into a party.
About 10 days later, back home with all friends and family. So we got like 2 weddings, really.
Yeah,
that's amazing,
yeah,
wasn't
we loved
it? So did you move back straight away into the place then that you
Well, we'd paid the rent for it for 2 months previously, so we could decorate it and get it all ready.
Right.
So we'd been working there anyway.
Right.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes, because one day I can remember I could tell you the date if I had a book in front of me, because I was listening to the radio and England were playing Russia at football, and I was still interested in football in those days.
Yeah.
And I was doing some tiling in the bathroom, I think, and a little sparrow flew in unexpectedly through one of the flues or whatever and frightened me to death. And Linda was in the lounge and I'm going, like a right softy. And she came running in. What's the matter? I said, there's a bird in here. So she went, oh, right. And ushered it out. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so we decorated it, you see, so it was ready for us to move in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And how was the first couple of years of marriage? Was it
married life.
Was it everything that you'd hoped it was?
Absolutely fantastic.
Oh.
And the thing was, we travelled to work together on the tube. We spent dinner times together because Linda worked on, I don't think she was in Millbank at that time, but eventually she was in Millbank. So I'm in Parliament Square and she's just up the embankment in Millbank. So we used to meet together and have our sandwiches in Parliament Square.
Lovely.
Or when we first were dating, we used our luncheon vouchers in the civil service restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Museum.
So our 2 and 6 penny luncheon vouchers. I got good value out of those.
I
can imagine.
Those waitresses looked after me. Yeah, they did. It was good. Yes, so we were together most of the time, really. And in fact, we were married for 36 years, just over. And if I say we were apart in the evenings for, shall we say, let's think. Well, I'll exaggerate slightly, I think, just so if I say 150 nights or something, that's as much as it was. But I don't think it was that much because I'd only be away if I was on a course.
Right.
Other than that, we were together all the time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
36 years. That's a great, length
I loved
of time,
every minute of it. It was fantastic. I'm not saying it was easy once I had that breakdown. And Linda, I've written on the subject of mental health because I had a friend who worked at Mind and he asked me, knowing I'd had a breakdown, he said, do you think you could write something for our magazine? I thought about it and I said, I can, but I'm not using Gerry Woolstonong. Wow. I said, I don't want you using my name. Yeah. I said, I'll use a pen name. Okay, that's all right. So I used, which is ironic now where we are, Stanley Park.
Stanley Park.
Yeah, I used Stanley Park. And I wrote for them because it's a very difficult issue to come to terms with, especially if you've not been involved. Yeah. If you've been involved, you've got a much better insight into it and know how. And this was one of the things that in many of the articles I read, nobody referred back to the partner because they're suffering immensely.
Yeah.
They're suffering immensely. And so I was, at the first article I wrote, I majored on that and said, you must remember that there are those close to you who will be suffering just as much and don't get any sympathy or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
One quick funny story from when it started, that breakdown. I'm under a psychiatrist at the hospital. I do remember his name, but I won't use it just in case he's around. And we're sat in his consulting rooms, and Linda came in with me because I always took Linda in wherever I went. And we're talking away, and he says, well, Mr. Woolstonong, he said, there's 3 things we can do for you. All right, okay. He said, we can use drugs. I can get you a course of electric therapy.
Ooh.
And he said, oh, we can talk. So immediately I went, hey, keep talking.
Yeah.
In other words, forget the other 2. Yeah. And, I said to Linda when we came out, he not got much sense of humour, had he? Because I went, keep talking. And he went, well, what do you want me to talk about? And I thought, he's missed the point. I'm meaning keep talking because I don't want any drugs and I don't want any medication, any electronic treatment. Yeah. And I said to Linda when we came out, hey, Linda, you hadn't got a very good sense of humour, had he? And Linda said, well, he doesn't expect his patients to start cracking jokes.
No, very true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So...
I definitely want to hear all about that.
It was very difficult. Very difficult. Linda did say at one time, she said, I was very worried at one point. I thought, will we survive this? Will our marriage survive it? But it did, without any serious interruptions or anything. Yeah. There was no departure or whatever. I did run away on one occasion, and I felt very sorry for Linda because... Don't forget, I'm sporting, and Linda was a great badminton player. Mm-hmm. She was most annoyed, though. I used to play her left-handed just because I was good at badminton and squash and, tennis and all that. But so I said, I'll play left-handed. And I still beat her. She was most annoyed.
I do that as well.
I was just about to
say. Do you do the same?
Yeah.
And one occasion, have you had this? One occasion we're playing... She's a point in front and serving, okay? She clips it back to me. It hits the top of the net and falls vertically right by it.
I think,
So I suddenly, in flash before me was, all the years I've never lost to her and I'm going to lose. No, I'm not. So I dived full length.
No.
Yeah, and honest, I've dived full length. By this time, Linda had momentarily... relaxed because she thought,
for victory.
I've beaten him.
Yeah.
And managed to get it and flick it over her head.
Wow.
To get the serve back, and I served out.
Oh, wow.
She went mad with me. She went mad with me.
Oh, I bet.
You could not even let me win. I said, no, I'm sorry, and I couldn't. No. She didn't mind really, but I knew what she meant.
I bet for a second though, she thought, I've got him. I've beaten him.
Yes, she did.
Yeah,
she did.
Amazing. Yeah. So let's rewind, Gerry. Obviously, you just got married.
Yep.
One question I want to ask you because, the length of marriage that you had, and the way that you mentioned several times how happy you was. Oh. I think today, we're living in a different world, a different culture, whereby marriage really isn't seen like it is.
No.
And it's a shame. We've gone backwards, in my opinion, in that way. But I wanted to know from someone that was married for so long, like really happily, what was your secret to success? How did you manage to go all them years being really happy?
Well, obviously, when you read that piece I've given you, what I said at the funeral, you'll see what I've said. In fact, I'll just read you that little part.
Absolutely.
Please do.
I'll just read you that little part, simply because it answers your question, Adam. It answers your question. I think I know where it is, because when I was printing it off, I saw this quote, and I thought, what's a quote doing in there? And I remember saying it. I said, like most marriages, ours had its delicate moments. And to use a story told by my friend Bob Dobson, now sunning himself in France, because he said, I'll cancel my holiday for the funeral. I said, don't. Linda wouldn't like it. Sunning himself in France about a long married couple he knew. The wife said, divorce? I've never even thought of it. Murder? Yes. But divorce? No. I'm sure that Linda would laughingly have subscribed to that view. Yeah. And I'm sure she would.
Yeah.
Because I'm very easygoing, but I'm not the easiest person to live with, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But Linda and I, somehow, both Aries, as you pointed out, we hit it off. There were very few, I think 2 nights in 36 years, Linda slept on the settee. And I was mortified the next day that she'd done that, because we had a bit of a spat late on. I was mortified. They were quite a bit apart as well. But in my stubborn way, the next day when we get together in the kitchen or whatever for breakfast or whatever, Linda starts apologising. I would have none of it, I went, no, you've caused it, And then as about half an hour went by, you'd begin to think, what am I playing at?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's
So,
headstrong Aries, though, isn't it?
sorry.
We do.
Yeah.
We do it, and I'm like, and we can
You
see
do,
when you have
don't
to
you?
back down and go,
few and
what
far
are we
between, like yourself.
Yes, twice.
Yeah,
I can remember both times. Yeah.
yeah. Ours is a handful of times, and
terrible. I felt awful afterwards. I said, "Oh, Lynn, let's not do that again."
Mm.
And no, but I think the secret for me was Linda allowed me to, like sporting, you'll see in there, there was a clean kit for every game that I was playing or whatever. It was all there, ready, laid out. And she never said, you're playing too much tennis, football, cricket or whatever. Never. So it was just good company, happy to be with her, happier to be with her than with anybody else.
Yeah.
Quite happy to not go out. We weren't goers outers. We were, in fact, we never holidayed until Deborah suddenly decided, I want to go to Butlins, and that's a story in itself.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get to that.
I want to go to Butlins, no, Deborah, I have avoided Butlins all my life. Mm-hmm. When I was a boy, that was the boys' treat from school. 10 of us or whatever, not us, because I wasn't in it, go to Butlins for a fortnight at Butlins or whatever and have a good laugh. Gerry, okay, no, I'm not going. And I never went. And then a competition was won by a friend of ours to take 2 children, and she'd only one. So Deborah's a friend of the other girl. Deborah can come with us. So I said, I knew they were drinkers, by the way. I'm not picking on them, but they like to go out for a drink.
Yeah.
So I had a vision of the kids who were probably 6 or whatever being left in the chalet and them going out for a few drinks. Which, okay, if that's the way they do, that's all right. Mm-hmm. But not with my daughter.
No.
I'm not leaving her there. So I said no to Deborah. Well, Deborah was mortified. Oh, Dad, I really want to go with Diane. It'll be great. No, it won't. So I said, I'll tell you what, if they can fix up for Mum to go as well, you can go. So they did, luckily.
Oh, yeah.
They got Linda in as well as an extra adult for a reduced rate. Not that we were bothered about that. So Linda and Deborah went off to Butlins. And I stayed at home. That's 5 of the nights or 10 of the nights, whatever it was, where we weren't together. But I reckon there weren't 150 in 36 years. Definitely not. There certainly wasn't a year's worth. Nowhere near.
No.
So when Deborah came back, she's full of it. You can imagine, can't you?
Excited, buzzing.
Yeah.
Wants to tell you,
How
Dad.
old was she?
Probably, they were at Devy Road, so she'd be, let's say 8.
Right.
She's loving it. Fantastic. Dad, we've got to go to Butlins. Deborah, no, we haven't. You see, I thought, I'm not going to Butlins. And we'd never had a holiday. When we came back to Blackpool, we never had a holiday.
Wow.
We weren't holiday goers particularly. We were not big holiday goers. We only had the one to Polperro when we were in London. We didn't take breaks. Oh, we came back to Blackpool a few times for weekends and that. So Deborah says, Butlins, no. Nag.
No.
Butlins, no, yeah. Eventually, she wore me down. Okay, we'll go. I said, we're only having a week there. That's it. Dad, 2 weeks. A week. Book it. I can remember being in a traffic jam outside.
Oh, no.
We were at Pathelli. Outside David Lloyd George's house with a plaque there. And I'm sat in the car. This is only a few miles away from the destination. And I'm sat in the car in this traffic jam looking at this plaque, thinking to myself, what am I doing here? Why am I going to Butlins? Anyway, we carried on. As we drove through the gates at Butlins, I'm sorry to repeat it, I thought, what am I doing coming in here? Well, all I can say is I apologise to Butlins. It was fantastic.
It was amazing.
We booked an extra week.
No.
And then we went for 6 years on the trot.
Oh, wow.
How crazy.
Yeah.
Did you wear a red coat?
Well, how funny you should ask that.
Yeah.
Because Deborah palled up with all the kids, you know.
Yeah.
And we used to go to the magic show every night. Well, I orchestrated the kids to shout, "It's in that box," or whatever, you see. And Deborah said to me one night, "Dad, do you know what my friends have asked?" I said, "No." She said, "They've said, is your dad a red coat?" Yeah, I wasn't. But I knew all the red coats. We got to know them because, again...
They make it.
Yeah, but fantastic. Breakfast, I got extra helpings, sweets. I'll tell you what I ate for the first time then. What's that ice cream? Viennetta, is it called? Yeah. First time I ever tasted that. Oh, and I had 2 or 3 pieces because they all got on with me like that.
Let's take Gerry out with us. We'll get more.
I had some great fun with the red coats.
No,
yes,
they're amazing holiday parks. Like this, even still now, like we go to quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And, like when you get into the entertainment with the kids, like the joy on their faces, and you realise that it's actually not about you; but it's about them. And
I had a great time as well.
Yeah, you do.
Because
you absolutely do.
I played football every morning.
Ah,
yeah. Well, Deborah and Linda went for a walk or in the amusements or whatever. I played 5-a-side football, and then one dinner time each week, I'd play 11-a-side football. Yes. And for each year we were there, the team I was playing with won the 11-a-side tournament and were runners-up in the 5-a-side tournament. The reason we were runners-up in the 5-a-side tournament, we were pretty good, but Liverpool lads brought a team with them. Because they're only up the road kind of thing, aren't they?
Right,
so they got 5 lads who'd been playing together all the time, whereas I'm playing with 4 strangers and they're playing with me.
Exactly,
you know. But it was great. And when we won one cup, there was a bit of argy-bargy because somebody kicked hell out of one of our lads, and I went, I'm abrasive when I'm on the football field. I went, "What's going on? Is that the way we're playing it?" Okay. And so I turned to Alan and said, "Okay, boys, if that's the way they want it, off we go." See? So it wasn't exactly a bloodbath.
No,
but
rough and ready though.
It was. So much so that at the night when the Red Coat presented us with the medals in front of the big audience, as you can imagine, at night there, he said, well, the winners of the football trophy are, I don't know what name we used then, I can't remember. Anyway, he said, this is them. He said, but in truth, neither side should be getting a medal for the display they put on out there today.
Oh, no, they didn't say that.
Which was a bit unfair.
Yeah.
I thought so anyway.
No, I agree.
But it was they started it, so I thought,
you finished it.
We're not having any of that.
No,
exactly.
Yeah,
come on, boys. I was like that every game I played. I think I've said to you, our manager used to say, I love it when somebody kicks you in the first minute. He said, because then that's it. The blue touch papers are light. He said, you're away 100% anyway.
Yeah.
He said, but when that happens, he said, I know we might expect fireworks in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that was just the way I was.
Yeah.
And I was okay after. I went, yeah, okay, good, sure.
One thing I want to know, Gerry, is obviously, Linda was from London, family from London.
Yep. She'd never spoken to a Lancastrian when she spoke to me, by the way.
Wow, that's crazy. But she couldn't hardly understand you.
That's what she said about my mum and dad.
Yeah.
I was a bit different because I'd been in London for 3 years, you see.
Okay.
Or 2.5 years.
Yes,
but my mum and dad had come down. And she did say she couldn't understand them.
No, it's weird,
which I said, don't be silly, Linda.
I know, because we find like our accent quite normal, don't we?
Yes.
But it's not until you're somewhere else and you realise actually it's very different.
Yes.
But obviously she wasn't from Blackpool, she was down from London.
She was, yeah.
How did you get or convince her to move up north to Blackpool? And why did you move to Blackpool again?
I'll tell you that. Well, I think she was so amenable, was Linda. She was such a nice lady. Never mind that she's my wife. She's a very nice girl and a very pleasant person to be with. Mm-hmm. She only ever swore at me once. I think I've told you.
Yes, you did.
Keys gone. I'll effing kill you if you do that again, Yeah. And I was crying my eyes out, and I rang Deborah after I'd calmed down. I said, your mum's just swore at me. Yeah. Deborah was a bit surprised as well. But she was so gentle and Oh no, she was very amenable. We discussed it first, obviously. I didn't just go along to the personnel in the Treasury and say, look, I want to leave.
Yeah.
We discussed it, and I went along to the personnel officer, and he said, no, twice.
He didn't want you to go.
No. No, you're, I know it sounds sort of trite to say it now, but he said, you're one of our rising stars. We've got you marked down as a future permanent secretary. We're not letting you go. Okay, right. Oh, well, very nice of you to say so. Thank you very much. And I had got on well. I'm not disputing that, only because that was my determination. I thought, I want to get to the top.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. No, you can't. No, you can't. So that's when I used emotional blackmail and said, well, I'll go and speak to the Chancellor and ask him if he'll speak to our head of personnel and see what he can do. No, we don't want that. And they managed to work a transfer in the end. Linda was quite amenable because we'd said, do we want to start a family in London? And both of us agreed, not really.
Where was that?
I don't know. I'm not really sure why. I thought much more pleasant. I loved London. Yeah. I loved my time there. I loved every minute of it and cried my eyes out when I left. I admit that. But I thought life will be a lot slower.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
In Blackpool. I loved my time in the Treasury. Absolutely loved it. Being in the corridors of power was a wonderful experience. I wouldn't have missed it for anything. I used C.P. Snow's title for it there just so it explains that you were always... I mean, I worked in that home finance on the IMF, and then they needed somebody on loan in the economic section. And they said, we've got a guy who would be good there. So they loaned me out for 6 months to the economic section. And I was using a computer. I'd never seen a computer in my life. And when I look back on it and think we'd got these big programs that you plugged in and all sorts, and then analyse the economic data and all this, I thought, what was I doing? It was new to me when I started on it, but in 6 months I got the hang of it and everything. So that was that. And then a little bit later, they moved me to defence. I was on Eastern Europe for a while as well, dealing with Russia, Romania, Poland and all that, trade relations and financial relations. Wow. And at one point, I was in line to go to Russia. Thank goodness I didn't, because I've no desire to go to Russia. No. Because one of the chaps who was going was attacked by a deer in Richmond Park, like 2 nights before they were due to leave. So they said, well, we better send Gerry with Peter Muse, you know. And I thought, no, I don't really want to. And they then decided, we'll do with one. And I thought, thank goodness for that. So I kept in contact by telegraph, because we had our own local telegraph office with all the foreign embassies and that. So, so I worked on Eastern Europe, which was quite good. I remember getting a phone call one night from one of the bosses saying everybody had gone home. It was one of the late nights now on my own, and he rings in, right, Wolstenholme, I need the Patolichev papers. And I thought, what's he talking about? Yeah. I went, oh, right, Mr. Copeman, yes, okay, I'll sort it out. I did, but with difficulty, yes. And Copeman came into the story another time, a little anecdote about it. We used to play cricket in the office when we had 2 bosses and they both went to lunch at the same time. So that gave us an hour's time where Mike Berryman, who I mentioned, I asked where Bethnal Green was, and some of the boys, there was a corridor down the middle of our office and it was ideal for cricket.
Oh, you actually played cricket in the office?
Yeah.
I meant outside the office.
With a rubber band ball. And,
wow.
Yeah. And if any of the ladies were still out at lunch, they used to get down, you know, just in case. Anyway, one day, and the door was in the middle of the office. So you bowled at this end and batted at that end, and there was the door. And this day, this same chap, Mr. Copeman, suddenly the door flew open. I was just about to bowl, and Harold Copeman walked in. Gosh, so he wanted one of the bosses. Sorry, they're at lunch, Mr. Copeman. Right, okay, I'll see him later. And slams the door and off he goes. We thought, blimey, that's not good, is it? Anyway, the bosses came back, one of whom I used to go to his house. He lived in Shooters Hill. Went to a party there and everything, great. And he was a smashing bloke, small, and like, I'm not generalising, but often some small men rather want to put themselves forward, don't they? And Fred walked with a little bit of a swagger. Nothing wrong with it,
no.
But I could do his walk now, walking across there with ease. So he comes back in, sits down. He's not sat at his desk for 2 minutes. His phone rings. And Fred, if he went to see any of the bosses, and this bloke was one of the big bosses, he always liked you to know. So phone rings. Hello, Dewar. Mr. Dewar, could you come in and see me, please? Fred, in a slightly louder voice. Yes, Mr. Copeman, of course I can. Be in a minute. We all heard that and thought, oh, God. So Fred gets up and in his walk, he says...
I'm expecting a waddle then in my head.
He came back and never said a word. So Copeman must have done that to put the frighteners on us again.
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
You know, yeah. We used to have fun there. It was great fun. So I'd been on loan to the economics section, and then Sir Dennis Rickett, one of the top men, one of his personal assistants, PAs, went on 6 months sabbatical. So they needed someone down there. So they said to Sir Dennis, our personnel people, I mean, they use this phrase, we've got just the guy. We'll send him. So Rickett says, Sir Dennis says, shouldn't call him Rickett, I always called him Sir Dennis. Send him down, I'll interview him. So, second floor, carpet, never mind the marbled floors that we were on and all this, posh. Yep, your own toilets and everything posher, you know.
Yeah.
Yep, down I go, see Sir Dennis, chat with him. Well, you start straight away, Wolstenholme. This was a Monday. You start straight away. Oh, right, okay. Do you mean now? Yes, now. Oh, I better go back and tell them then, hadn't I? Yes, you had. But they're prepared. I did say that if you're suitable, I need you straight away. Okay. So I go back. Hey, I'm going down to Sir Dennis for 6 months. So I went and worked for Sir Dennis Rickett for 6 months. So that did me no harm.
Yeah.
Because I was mixing with all the hobnobs and that, which I think that's why my perception of senior people, and I was one of them eventually, but in the civil service, they're only ordinary people like us.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah.
Yeah, so worked there for 6 months. And then promotion and that, and the Chancellor's office wants someone. And the same story. We know just who to send to you.
Yeah.
And Ian Bancroft, later Sir Ian Bancroft, send him down, I'll interview him. Well, they didn't know I knew Bancroft. Only through football, because our home ground was at Sanderstead, and he used to live near. And when he knew we were playing at home, he'd come down and watch us.
Yeah.
And I was in goal. So he'd stand behind my goal, and I'd chat with him. Yeah, Mr. Bancroft, yeah, good. So when I walk in, he goes, oh, hello, you see. So that job was mine straight away without any interview, really.
Wow.
Because he knew of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I got there.
Wow.
And worked there but there's some lovely stories, which, if you don't mind, I can tell you a couple, but if you don't need those, I won't, because there was some fun in the Chancellor's office and some...
What was your favourite, would you say? Your favourite story?
Well, have we mentioned when I did one of the ministerial conferences?
No.
I do not think you did.
Right.
No.
But your memory's better than mine, Gerry.
Yeah.
I've listened to the podcast and I don't think we have.
Yeah, I don't think we have.
I've listened to the podcast. There's 3 quickies. One, a simple one in a way. Chancellor wanted his suite decorating. And Peter Middleton, need I say it, later Sir Peter Middleton. If I'd only stayed there, I don't know. They're all Sir this, that, and the other. Honestly, all the people I work with. Yeah, Sir Peter Middleton said, go in and tell him, economic situation, we can't spend that kind of money. Because it was costly. Because you'd got to get MI6 in to debug it and check for bugs, etc., etc. There's loads more to it than just get this stuff out, decorate and put it back.
Yeah.
Loads more. So I go in, Chancellor, I'm sorry, do you think it's wise spending this kind of money at the moment? Well, yes, it is. We need a rehab, so yes, please get on with it. So, okay, right. So we have to arrange for everything to go out, which isn't as simple as saying, you saying to me, Gerry, get that out, get that out, get that. Oh, no, none of that. Especially the Canaletto that we had in there on loan from the National Gallery. We had a huge Canaletto.
What's a Canaletto, sorry?
Painter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, big artwork. You perhaps know, as a Minister of the Crown, he's entitled to any painting in the reserve stock of the National Gallery.
I never knew that.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
On one condition. That if you came along and said, I need to see Canaletto's The Thames from Richmond Terrace. Oh, we've loaned it out to the Chancellor's office. We'll make arrangements for you to see it.
Oh,
and you had to agree.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got this massive Canaletto.
Right.
Next to it is a bracket clock. Just so I'm telling you. So everything's done. Cut a long story short. Job's finished. Get it all back. So it comes back. The clock comes back first. So the people say, you've got no authority to do any of this yourself, by the way. For instance, that's Ministry of Public Building and Works job. The pictures, the National Gallery's job. You know,
Right.
I can't go, oh, bang, bang, bump. So the clock comes back first. So they say to me, where's it go? I said, there. You see. Yeah. So they drill 4 holes in the wall. Clock goes on. Canaletto comes back. We can't touch the Canaletto because it's worth millions of pounds.
Wow.
The curators from the gallery came and did that, and it's stored in our basement. So they come back and they're placing it in the wall, and it overlaps with this clock they've put on there. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Get on the phone. Ministry of Public Building and Works, can you get back here quick and move this clock? So yeah, they did. They came back, moved it. So gets moved, picture goes up, and in between the clock bracket and the corner of the picture, there's 2 drill holes.
I was just thinking
thinking that myself.
Yeah. So Peter Middleton comes in. What's that? And incidentally, the Chancellor had chosen wallpaper, and I can describe it to you exactly. I know exactly what it was because it was £60 a roll when we were paying 12 and 6 a roll or whatever, like 62.5p.
Wow.
Green flocked, Regency green flock. So I went, oh yeah, a bit of an accident. I went up the wall and I said, a bit like Michael Caine in The Italian Job in later times, hang on a minute, I've got a good idea. And I knew from the messengers up to the Chancellor, I knew loads of the people because, there's only 1,000 or so work there.
Yeah.
And I'd done so many different things.
You've got
a lot
to know.
of people knew me and everything.
Yeah.
Not that I was trying to get known, but they did. And so I knew where the messengers' storerooms were and the cleaners' storerooms. So I said, hang on, I've got a good idea. So I run off to the cleaners' storerooms, get a bar of carbolic soap, wet it all, run back. It's green, this paper, and I rub the soap into these 2 holes.
Right, to block it up.
Yeah, to block it up. So it's not shouting at you like it's 2 black holes in the middle of some green.
Yeah,
at least it's green now.
Yeah.
And I can remember Peter Middleton went, well, I can still see it. I said, yeah, but it's there. I said, the people who don't know it's there won't even notice it.
Exactly.
And it was still there when I left.
I would have blamed the guys. I would have gone, I told them to put it there, and they've done that.
The only thing that worried me about that was if they'd rang them up and said, hey, you've put this in the wrong place. And they go, no, Wolstenholme told us to put it there. I thought,
true.
I'm caught up.
So you moved back to Blackpool and you still work for the civil service back in Blackpool then as well?
Well, I asked for a transfer.
Yeah.
And I said I'd take my promotions away, I'll start again and take my chance and working my way up again.
Right.
Yeah. But they wouldn't do that. No. And one of the other chancellors, quickly, conference, St James's Palace, band come and play outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
Summer day, because we're always in the recess when we did this. Simultaneous translation going on in the room, and all the foreign dignitaries there. Giscard d'Estaing, the French president later, he was the finance minister. Chancellor, I'm sat in the corner. Go and stop that band. Well, the band was going over to Buckingham Palace to help change the guard. I mean, I go and stop that band. I couldn't say to him, no, I can't. I thought I'd better go out. So I went out, stood on the dais where are loads of people watching all the band performing and everything, and thinking to myself, how do I push my way through here and then tell that bloke, hey, can you move on?
Stop
We've got a conference going on up there. So I stood there panicking like mad, thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get away with this, when suddenly it must have been time to move on. So the guy tossing the old caber and that says, right, doing British Grenadiers are off the march. So I stood there for a few minutes thinking I'll give it time to go so he'll think I've done something. And off it went. So I made my way back up and I walked sheepishly back into the room. He looks up and he goes, and sycophantic to the last, I went.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nicely done.
I've got a note from him at home saying thanks for all the effort you put in for that conference.
Oh, amazing. So you didn't move back to the civil service then, to Blackpool?
Pardon?
You didn't move back?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, did you?
In the end.
Right.
Yep. In the end, they arranged a level transfer.
Right.
Wow.
But I was already on the rungs of the ladder.
Yeah.
In the Treasury, where I was well known,
Mm-hmm.
which was good, all to the good, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
I'm coming to a new place now where nobody knows me.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got to make your name again, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it took me, I was going to say it took me longer to work my way up and get the top job than it should have done. But nobody knew me, you see.
No, exactly. No, it was a brave move though, wasn't it, really, going to a place that, again, no one knows you. And like you've spent all them years building your career.
Yes, and it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
So,
but I quickly established it again, luckily, very luckily. So much so that when the top job came up, prize draw manager, there were 12 people going for it, including me. And everybody said, oh, there's only one person for the job. Who? Oh, Gerry. You know, it's got to be. And then others would say, these are my peers and that, and people above you. They said, he won't get it. Why not? Because he speaks his mind. And I did. Yeah. I always spoke my mind. I was never going to just kowtow to any blinking whatever silly things. There was a world of difference between the Treasury and National Savings. The Treasury, professional, really, National Savings, well, they were living in Victorian times. And a friend, Ron Fuller, worked with me in London. He'd moved from National Savings in London to the Treasury. And he said to me, Gerry, do not expect the same working environment in National Savings than you've got here.
Yeah.
They were still calling people Mr. Wolstenholme and all this, that and the other. Cut that out, I said. It's Gerry. You can cut that out. We don't want any of that. Anyway, I didn't get it because I remember they fed me with questions that they perhaps knew my views on because I wasn't unknown by this time. But even so, it'd take me a bit longer than perhaps it might have done if I'd stayed in the Treasury, but it doesn't matter. And I said, oh, no, can't do that, And of course, I didn't get it.
Yeah. But
the bloke who did couldn't handle it. So the re-interview. And I'm there again. So I said to Linda, they're going to get a shock this time, Lynn. She said, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to play the party line.
What does that mean?
I know what they want. I know the answers they're looking for.
Yeah.
I wasn't stupid.
No.
I just didn't like to just kowtow and go, we should do that, you know.
No.
Yeah. I said, I'm going to play the party line and see what happens. So the interviewing panel, chairman was the same, 2 completely different outsiders. Right. Did the interview, results come out. Again, people had said, well, it's Gerry's, but he won't get it. But nobody knew, other than Linda, that I was going to answer. For instance, I've got strong views on unions, right? Mm-hmm. If they fed me a question on unions, that would be it. I'd say, unions? Don't talk to me about unions, you know. Yeah. So this time I went, they've got a part to play in the organisation, you know. Gave them all that.
Yeah.
I'm not daft. And I got it.
Yeah.
Go to get the letter to say you start, you know, next Monday or whatever. And the controller shakes my hand and says, unbelievably to me, Gerry, that was the most professional interview we've had for a long time. To which I'm thinking, well, you gullible so-and-so. If you've fallen for that, knowing me and knowing that, or should know, that I would revert to type as soon as I got in the post, I would still be the Gerry Woolstone who would go, no, we're not doing that, or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, that's how it went, and I got it. So that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, you know, what I'm very keen on touching on, you know, because I think a lot of people looking at this will want to know this element of it, is, you know, you became a published author. That's a big part of your story. I'm very excited. And we've heard a lot about your career in the civil service. But we haven't touched
we've had enough of that.
Well, no, I literally could. I'm fascinated about that.
There's lots of different stories as well.
But I want to know what made you become a published author, and
how it started.
And how it started, How did you transition from being a civil servant to a published author?
Well, before I became a published author, I'd already transitioned from the civil service into becoming a second-hand and antiquarian bookseller.
Can you say that 3 times fast? So can you say that bit 3 times fast? That was but I'll say that again, because I never caught that properly in my head.
Well, before I became a published author, I became a second-hand and antiquarian bookseller.
Wow.
Second-hand antiquarian books.
So for the layman, tell me what that actually is.
Second-hand books.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, second-hand books.
Right. Is that in Blackpool then?
No, I started this in London.
Ah, wow.
Oh, yeah.
So the journey already started prior to moving back then.
But this is being a bookseller, not a writer.
Okay.
But my writing started long before that, as you'll see in a minute. But just quickly to tell you the bookselling side, I started collecting books as a youngster, and my first collection was Noddy.
The little with the head.
Yes.
With the head.
The red hat.
Red hat.
With the bell.
We used to watch Noddy.
Yeah. That was my first collection.
Oh.
And my dad built me a special bookcase in my bedroom in the wall that my Noddy books would go in. I had him looking all over the place for them. And I followed that by Biggles. You won't know Biggles.
No,
probably.
Biggles.
Pardon?
Biggles the cat?
No. It's Scorry. He's squadron leader Bigglesworth. He's a flyer.
Okay.
W.E. Johns. So that was my second collection. So I've always been into books. My mum and dad had books when I was a kid. Not a lot, but they did have books.
Yeah.
And my dad had one called Bread for the Dead, and I used to tease him like mad about it. Fancy reading tripe like that, Dad. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know. And he used to go, hey, it's a good book, you know. And I must admit, if I could get a copy now, I'd have one because it's about 65 quid or something. Yeah. But I used to tease him. But my dad had books, my mum had books, and I read their books because I've been a reader since Noddy, right? So that's my book interest. And I used to go into work every day with a book. Well, before that, about my first week in London, I went to the pictures with some of the boys and we saw The Young Lions, and I saw it was a novel by Irwin Shaw. And I thought, I'd like a copy of that. I'd like to read it. Where will I get one? Now, I joined a book club when I was a youngster, 4 and 6 a month, and you got a book of choice each month.
Yeah.
Great. And so I was always into books. And I went to Foyles because they ran the bookshop in Charing Cross Road, and that became my mecca while I was in London, because every shop or every other shop's a bookshop. Fantastic. Amazing. Anyway, so I found a copy there, 2 shillings it was. I remember it well. Took it home, read it. And I used to read a book on the way to the office every day. And people in the office said, "What are you reading, Gerry? Where'd you get it?" "Oh, well, I look round bookshops and that." "Well, if you see a copy of whatever, will you pick one up for me, please?" So that started me getting a very nice Mary Moore spinster lady, typical spinster, said, "Can you get me a copy of Wilkie Collins, The Woman in White?" "Yeah, of course I can, Mary." And I bought one for 6pence and sold it to her for 1 shilling. Yeah. So that's how that started.
Right.
Yeah. And it mushroomed, it grew. So much so that I used notebooks with handwritten catalogues that circulated around the Treasury, and people placed orders and so on. So it began to grow a bit. Yeah,
you had a little bit of an entrepreneur in you then, by the sound of it.
Well,
I'm
not sure. It was purely the books.
Yeah.
Purely books, because I do love books. They are a major part of my life. Yeah, and it just grew. And I used to sell them at 6pence and 1 shilling, having bought them cheaper. And then one day a lady said to me, Nora Reid, who took me down to the basement to show me the, I think I did tell you this, I don't know, took me down to the basement to show me the archives and came on strong to me, and I ran away.
No, you didn't tell us about that.
Have I not told you that?
No.
Oh, yeah. I ran away.
Was this before Linda or after?
Before.
Oh, right, I was going to say.
This was before Linda.
Yeah.
I ran away. I was frightened.
No.
Was she a lot older?
10 years older, I would say.
Was she?
Well, I was only 18, 17. She'd be 27, probably. Ooh. Yeah. Nice lady.
Yeah.
One of my friends, 50-odd-year-old, Sam Surridge, he used to say about her to me, "Fine figure of a woman." and honestly, she came on to me and I ran back to the office and thought, it didn't cause any problem between us because,
no.
I knew her husband as well who worked in the Treasury, so that was another reason.
As well?
That was another reason.
Naughty.
But I was frightened anyway. Yeah. I was young. And
so you always had a passion for books then, by the sounds
of
it.
Books have been part of my life since my dad took me to the library as a youngster. I went through the library's Billy Bunters. I read every cricket and football autobiography and biography and tour book at the library. Dennis Wheatley became my 3rd major collection. Yep. So I've always been into books.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's probably a natural transition then, being so into books, to actually writing one.
Well, how did you come to writing your first ever book?
Well, the only writing at home that relates back to my young days is a postcard from what's it called? The Abbey in Yorkshire, Fountains Abbey. Mm-hmm. To my dad, saying thanks for the sweets to take on the, and it says a boy was, and I can remember, a boy was sick 12 times on the coach, Dad, I know we had to keep stopping to let him be sick. I can remember that. So that's the only early writing I've got. Plus I've got an exercise book from Baines Grammar School, the first one I ever did. And irony of all ironies, we had a copying job. One of the first jobs, copy this off the board into your workbook. They wanted to see your writing and all that, and I made a mistake, and it's got a red SP spelling crossed through, and the word I've misspelt, unbelievably, is mistake. I spelt it missy take. Yeah, so they're the early writings I've got at home. Then in 1961, when I'm 15, I decided I wanted to write a book.
Oh, so early then?
Yeah. Well, this is a one-off. So my dad says, right, I'll hire you, you could in those days, a typewriter, 5 shillings a week from Ashworth's in Corn Street. You could hire a typewriter for 5 bob. So, away I went.
How easy is your dad to do that?
I know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, away I went. I don't know how my dad knew you got a typewriter from Ashworth's, so I think he might have known Mr. Ashworth. I don't know. Anyway, so I wrote the book. I didn't know what to do with it. what the hell did you do with a book at 15? I have no idea about publishing. Or
what was it about, this book?
Cricket.
It was a cricket book,
Cricket,
okay.
Yeah. So I put it in a brown envelope. It stayed in that brown envelope for 50 years.
50
untouched.
years?
Yep.
Wow.
What?
Because I was 14. No, perhaps not 50, 40, say, 40,
Yeah.
45 years.
Yeah.
And suddenly it arrived in Glastonbury with some stuff I'd sent down to Deborah. Oh, don't lose that, Debs, I said. I'd forgotten about it. Because by then I was a published author and I thought, well, I could get that published for I wouldn't alter it because it's written as a 15-year-old.
Oh, yeah, it's authentic, isn't it?
Yeah, it would spoil it.
Oh, how amazing.
Yeah, it is, until you know that Deborah's husband burnt it.
No.
Yeah.
Deborah's husband.
Oh, bet you were happy about that, weren't you?
I couldn't believe it.
Why did he burn it, I wonder?
Because it was with some... Deborah has a wood burner, and I used to gather newspapers for her because they didn't get a lot of newspapers. So whenever I went down, and we were going down fairly regularly then, and so I'd take a bundle of newspapers, and it got caught up in between those.
Oh,
He
gutted.
burnt it.
Oh,
I was gutted. Anyway, that's by
change
the
it.
way.
No.
So I was on a lot of booksellers' mailing lists because I hate saying these things really because it sounds like you're blowing your own trumpet, but I'm not. I'm just telling you,
You blow that
No,
trumpet, Jerry.
100%.
how it happened.
you're inspiring other people
This is it, this is it.
want to do what you've done.
When I was setting up my business, all the booksellers in London, because I knew not most of them, but lots of them,
Mm-hmm.
so much so that 2 of them gave me jobs, which I'll tell you about. And they all said, every single one, to a man or woman, what are you doing in the civil service? Why? Well, you've got a natural instinct for being a bookseller. Your knowledge is amazing.
Wow.
Why don't you set up business? And a friend of mine, millionaire, Robert Back, lived in Turnham Green, where I lived. Gerry, I'll set us up in business. I'll be the money man. I'll be in the background and you run the business. Well, one thing I would never do, this is just me,
Yeah.
go into partnership.
Wow.
I would never go into partnership
How come? What's the reason for that?
because I'm a control freak. I think
okay.
it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If there's a mistake to be made, I'll make it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mean that flippantly, but if it happens,
Yeah,
it's my
fair
fault.
Dealing with yourself and
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
No,
And Linda, because Linda was a great help.
Mm.
She read as well. So they moaned at me regularly. And I used to say, no, I'm ambitious in the civil service. Don't even worry, I can run this in the part-time, you know, which I did. And one day, one of the booksellers at 548 Chiswick High Road, and we lived in a flat above it at the time, in a block of flats. They were next door. He had 2 bookshops together, and he said, would you like a job? Peter Scott, he was called. I said, I can't, Peter, I'm a civil servant. I'm working, you know. No, I'd like you to work in the evenings, early evenings and that, and catalogue all my antiquarian stock. Oh, right. This was before I got married. Oh, right. Yeah, of course I'll do it. He said, I'll pay you 5 shillings an hour, 25 pence an hour. I went, yep. I said, but let me tell you now, I don't want any money.
You said that.
Yeah. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do the work. I'll tell you each week how many hours I've done.
Mm-hmm.
You can log it down. I will then go round the shop and pick what I want.
Nice. Free books.
Well, that's what I thought. I
Yeah.
thought this helps my business because I
Yeah.
started my own business then,
Yeah.
you see. So that's how it worked. Anyway, it comes to 1968. Peter, I'm going to have to stop. Why? I'm getting married. And I can't leave Linda every night.
No.
Oh, heck. Well, would Linda like a job with you? Because you can have an assistant. I'll pay her 5 shillings an hour to be your assistant. So I said, oh, yeah, she would. Without asking
I was
her.
going to say, you didn't ask her.
No, but I knew what Lynn'd say.
Yeah. Well, she was into books as well, so I imagine
She did like books, not to the same degree as me,
No.
but
No.
she did. And cliche. We were in love and wanted to be together.
Any way possible.
Yeah. If we were together till 9 o'clock at night, we used to take a flask of Vimto with us, because it was cold there at night, as you can imagine. So we had a flask of Vimto, and she'd get the books off the shelves. I'd catalogue them and all that, and we did that for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, till they closed down.
Right.
So that was that. The shop next door was a new bookshop owned by his partner, Chater and Scott. They were called Mr. Chater. I knew him, and he knew me. And Pete had obviously told him about me, because next thing I know, he tells me he wants to see me. So I go to see him, and he says, right, Gerry, I've got a proposition for you. I want you to manage our outlet at Silverstone.
Wow.
Right. Sorry? He said, we've got an outlet at Silverstone. Did you know? I said, no, I didn't, because they were motoring specialists.
Right.
So I went, oh, right. Yeah. He said, would you be so kind as to manage it for us? I'll pay you whatever he said. I can't remember, because I immediately knew I'm not really interested.
Right.
Not because I didn't want to manage a bookshop or whatever, but it would interfere with my business, because Saturdays were my buying day, because I'm working Monday to Friday.
Yeah,
of course.
So eventually I turned it down, and that was that. But I did work for them 3 years, I think, at the motor show, where they had 2 or 3 stalls. Both Linda and I worked there. Again, we were together, although Linda was on the second floor, I was on the first. But anyway, and he paid us very nicely. And we used to go there from the office and work there from 6 till 9, 7 days a week, while the 2 weeks it was on. And then we'd pack it all up and go home. And that was that. We did that for about 3 years, which was good. And then they shut down. And he said he gave me the run of the shop for 2 hours before he opened it to the public to take their choice. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I filled my boots.
Oh, I bet you did. But you was like a kid in a candy shop, wasn't you?
I took my dad with me so he could help me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So eventually he closed down. But while this was going on, a bookshop, that was 584 Chiswick High Road, right next door to where we lived. We moved shortly after, half a mile down the road, to Turnham Green. And a bookshop opened round the corner from on Chiswick High Road. Oh, there were.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why business was great.
Yeah.
On Chiswick High Road again, but he was about number 200. So you can see there's a long way between them. Because I made money every Saturday. He specialised in these subjects. He specialised in these subjects. So I could buy from him and sell to him, and buy from him and sell to him.
Nice.
I did that every Saturday and made a few quid just to boost the funds, you see. Because I started off with nothing. I had no money. I just had to build it up. So that was how that went, and I ran that. And then Bill Foster, who's the guy down the other end, used to put a special priced book every week. I didn't know this in his shop to see who would buy it. Anyway, one day I'm buying, and I can remember what it was. It was one of Tobias Smollett's books. And I picked it out. I thought, oh, this is nice. I'll have this. I'll make a profit on this. So I take it to Bill. And Bill said to me, do you know, Gerry, he said, I'm absolutely amazed. I've got this system. And he told me that system he'd got. He said, and you know, for about the last 10 weeks, you've bought that damn book.
No way.
Yeah. He said, you've picked that damn book out every week.
Wow.
For 10 weeks. Well, I didn't know, I said. He said, no, well, you wouldn't. How would you know? It's just another book in the shop. Well, right, okay. Would you like a job? I said, Bill, I can't. He was one who was a big pusher for me to go full time.
Yeah.
I said, you know I'm a civil servant. Yeah, but you can come and run the shop on a Saturday and I'll take the day off. Saturday afternoon, then, he said. Because he knew that I spent time going buying on a Saturday. Saturday afternoon, £3 an afternoon. So I went, yeah, I'll do that. He said, and anybody comes in while you're in charge, you can buy the books they sell. If there's anybody says, I've got books at home for sale, you can go and view them, and they're all yours. So nice. I did that. Yeah. So I'd run in Peter's antiquarian section, Bill's shop, working as the civil service. Oh, yeah, wow. But I loved it. It was great. It was great. The only thing was Linda couldn't come with me into the shop, of course. She could have done, but she would. She was out with my mum and dad quite often.
Yeah.
So that was that. In between all this, I'm getting book catalogues from all around the country. And a guy called John Wrigley in Sheffield decided he'd get some written articles in his catalogues. This is the start, you see.
Yeah.
I used to get the catalogue, read it, think, yeah, that's good. Now, I remember saying to Linda, there's some nice little articles in here. I said, I could write a couple of those, you know.
What are the articles about? About books?
Yeah, about writers.
Right, okay.
Mainly writers.
Okay.
Yeah. I said, I could do a couple of them. So I said, I think I will, and I'll send them to him, because I used to buy from him, and he'd buy from me.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll do one and send it and see. And I can remember what it was. In fact, I read an article on him only the other day in the 1895 New Century magazine, which is exciting because he'd only died in December 1894. So to get some first-hand information about him rather than read later biographies was good. Anyway, I wrote on Robert Louis Stevenson, you know, who wrote Treasure Island.
Yeah.
So I wrote that. And John published it. And it went down well. So I wrote more. And they went down well. So I thought, this is all right. Did nothing about it. He closed down eventually, so that died off. So I suddenly decided I need to write my own book. I'm doing all this. I was writing bits and pieces for other things. I wrote in one magazine for quite a long time. And Linda, God bless her, she said this it was a quarterly magazine. Every quarter it arrived through the post through our door. She'd say the same thing every quarter. Gerry, she said, you know this magazine you're writing for? I said, yeah. She said, there's only one really good article in there. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, yours is the only one with any substance.
Wow.
She said the rest are ephemeral and that. Well, I never read it.
No.
I never bothered reading it because I didn't want to read my own.
No.
When you do read, the ironic thing is, when you do read your own, and I say this without being clever or anything, and I did it recently. I read an article I'd written and I thought, that's bloody good. You know.
Yeah.
But I meant it dispassionately.
Yeah.
I didn't mean because I'd written it.
No, but
because it had loads of stuff in it.
Yeah.
You know. In fact, let me tell you a similar story. Blue plaque for Harold Larwood on the cricket club. Get a phone call. Will you come and present it and preface it with a speech and everything? Packed pavilion at Blackpool Cricket Club. Yeah, of course I will. Yeah, I'd love to. His daughter's coming over. I'd just written a book about him. And as I'd finished the book, I got in touch with his daughter through another friend. And I thought, what a shame I've got in touch with her and I've just finished the book. Email, because she lived in Australia. Enid Todd. Enid, sorry to bother you, but I've just written a book on your dad and it's at the press now. Have you got any memories? Because he lived in Blackpool for a while in 1946 to 50, near where I lived. But of course, I was too young to know then.
Yeah.
And in fact, I passed his shop after he'd left on my way to school every day. But that's just the way it was. So she went, well, yeah, I've got some stories, but I couldn't write them. I said, well, I'll tell you what, give me the gist of them and I'll write them. I'll add it to my book saying, in discussion with Enid Todd, this. But of course, the book's at the press, more or less printed.
Yeah.
Of course,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dash. Anyway, discussed it all by email, wrote the piece, sent it to her. How does this grab you? I had to do it quick because I knew the printer wouldn't be holding the job up.
No.
Yeah.
So she went, yeah, that's fine. Perfect. Yeah. So I went to the printers and I set it up myself because he was, what we do. I said, look, I've got to add this. I'm adding it as an afterword.
Yeah.
So I wrote an afterword, about 20 pages or so, and added it to the book. And I've told you that because when the book came out, it got rave reviews one bloke said, "What a pity he's got the afterword as an afterword rather than include it in the book." I felt like writing to him and saying, "Well, you're bloody lucky you got it, mate, because the book was finished and coming out." Yeah.
There's always someone that has to put
it was
there.
okay. I didn't mind really. So So and she came over to see me. Well, not to see me, to see some friends, and she said, "I'm coming up to see you, so that I can meet you and we can have a chat and everything." So she comes up, and my book's signed by her as well as by me. So it's the only copy that's signed like that by. She put Enid Todd brackets Nay Larwood. Yeah. So they're putting a blue plaque up on the pavilion. Can you come and do it? Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. So I go down there. Funny story. 1:30 start live on. The Northwest News at 1:30.
Okay.
So I have to be there for 1:30. It's not coming on straight away to 1:30, but I have to be there to 1:30. So you know what I'm like. I'm thinking about what am I going to say. Yeah. And I certainly don't want to be stood there with notes and television cameras there. So I thought, right, I've got it. I've got it. Okay. So I'm strolling down, 1:20. I'm walking down Mere Road thinking, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hope it's all right. Get there and it's packed. There's people all over the field waiting to see what's going on. And at the gate is the chairman, the Blackpool Corporation executive who is responsible for putting the plaque up and all that, panicking. I stroll in. It must have been, I think it was about 28 minutes past 1.
Right.
So I was strolling. And they're there, absolutely worried to death. "Where have you been? What's going on? Where have you been?" I said, "What's the problem? It's not 1:30 yet." They said, I quote them, "There's no show without punch. Get up there." I said, "Yeah, but there's nothing happening till 1:30. You're all right with 2 minutes. Yeah, I can make there in 30 seconds. So we get up on the pavilion front. The chairman introduces it. Now we come to the unveiling of the plaque. Enid's there, his daughter.
Yeah.
Unveiling of the plaque. I'll hand over to Gerry give us a little insight into Harold Larwood's life and achievements in Blackpool, you see. So, yeah, no problem. So off I go. I speak about his life and achievements and everything. And then I say, well, I'll now hand over to Enid, who's going to be very kindly do the unveiling in honour of her dad, you see. So she pulls the cord, out comes the plaque and everything. No problem. Everybody then, yeah, great, clap, clap, clap. There's a reception for the VIPs, of which I was included. I don't know why, but I was included anyway. So we're setting off to go to the reception, and the corporation executive comes to me and goes, "Gerry, you're needed." I said, "What do you mean I'm needed?" She said, "Well, there's Radio 4, Radio Lancashire, this, that and the other radio who want to interview you." I went, "Well, we're going to reception, aren't we?" "Yeah, but these are there to get it live on their programmes now." So I went, wow. "Oh, all right." So I had to go out to the middle of the field where the crowd was thinned and do these about 5 interviews, one after the other. I changed it a bit because I never say the same thing twice. No. So I did all that. And then they all went, "Thanks, Gerry, great," and we're walking off. And I say to her, "Well, we might as well go to the reception now." She said, "Yeah." I said, "Let's hope they've kept us something." They'd eaten it all.
No.
You're a VIP.
Got nothing. Anyway, a bit later on, I decide I'm writing another book about Larwood, slightly different slant, and I'm going to call it A Blue Plaque for Harold Larwood. So I thought, I'll go down one Sunday and read the plaque. So I go down. This proves the point I said to you before, you'll see. I read the plaque and I'm stood there reading it thinking, hell, whoever's done that has done a fine job. That is excellent.
Yeah.
It's got all the salient points in. Oh, blimey, I wonder who did that. Off I go. Get home and think, I'll look at my files from the time to see if I've got anything. Because I wrote down what I was going to say just so I'd get an idea in my head.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to take any notes with me though. And I go on this folder that the files are in and I see blue plaque. What's that? So I go on the blue plaque to find that I'd sent 6 variants to the council to say, choose one of these. And if you need something else, let me know.
So
I'd written the damn thing.
With your memory as well, and you forgot about that.
I honestly didn't remember.
Wow.
All I did think was, well, they've really done well, whoever's done that. Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was another little incident. So, right, so 1988, was it? I decided, for some reason, I'll write a book about the 1906 West Indian trip to England. Nothing written about that trip.
Right.
So I thought, I'll get a book out on that.
Was all your books cricket based, by the way?
Oh, heck no.
No. Oh, these are varied then. Completely varied.
Do you mean the ones I've written or the ones I've got in my collection, or both?
Well, yeah, the ones that you've actually written and published.
Cricket, football, literature, autobiographical to a degree, poetry, So anything that takes my fancy, really.
Okay. And what if you had to sort of pinpoint like one in particular, is there something that you prefer writing for, or do you just like the nature of writing?
I'm laughing because an early question I got from a reader was, Gerry, I've really enjoyed your books. Do you prefer writing about football or cricket? You see? So I replied, I prefer writing about English literature. You see? They came back and went, well, I didn't ask that. I didn't even know whether you'd, I didn't even know you'd written any English literature, any literary books, So I said, well, no, I didn't bother. But if you were to ask me, I suppose I prefer writing cricket. But either, it doesn't really matter.
No, you just like
English literature is my preferred.
Okay. And while it's in my memory, because I know that this would be really useful for anyone that's watching this. That wants to be a published writer.
Yeah.
Is what would you say is the technique or thing that you have to have that makes someone that just writes for pleasure
a published writer?
But like, what would you say like the technique is?
What do they need?
What do they need? What's the like US
advice?
Yeah, the advice. What would you give them?
I think there's an element of luck involved in it.
Okay. Like probably many sort of like different career paths, I'd say.
An element of luck in it. Because I published the first one myself.
Right, okay.
Because I didn't know that anybody would say, oh, Gerry Woolston, he'll write it for us. I had no idea that anybody would say that. You've got to prove yourself first, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I always tell people who are confused about how do I start, well, try doing one yourself, providing you can afford it.
Yeah, of course.
Try doing one yourself first. And that's how your name gets out there. Mind you, having said all this, I've dabbled in all sorts of stuff writing. I really have. And I don't say that boastfully. I'm just saying it's just the way things have gone, and people have asked me to do things. For instance, I went to a talk on Dickens. Well, I'm a big Dickensian, I must admit.
Big
so I go to a talk in Blackburn Library, and we get there early. I'm with the Blackpool librarian and myself. We get there early, we go and have lunch, and we go an hour before the event. And the only 2 people there are the Blackburn librarian who's hosting it and the speaker, a doctor of literature, a lady, doctor of literature. So, of course, there's no option but to talk to them.
Yeah.
So Tony talked with the librarian, obviously, because they're both in the same game, and the lady talked with me. Yeah. So we talk Dickens all the time, this, that, and the other. Oh, she said, I can see that you're very knowledgeable on him. Well, I said, I've read him over the years, studied him, and he's one of my favourites. And yeah, I can tell that, right? So the talk starts. Halfway through, guy in the audience puts his hand up. The lady says, yes, can I help you? Yes, he asked a question about Oliver Twist. She said, I don't really know. She said, I can't answer that. She said, but there's a man in the audience who might be able to. So she looks, we're in the theatre at the library at Blackburn, which is a lovely theatre.
Yeah.
Just a minute. She looks around the audience, sees me. Gerry, can you answer this gentleman's question, please? Luckily, I could. So I went, yes. So I told him the answer and that was that. End of the thing comes, and we stay behind to have a coffee, the same four of us, just talking. She then says to me, bear in mind, it's just me. She says, Gerry, I'm doing a symposium on Charles Dickens, and I'd like you to make a contribution. She said, I've got Professor Michael Slater. I said, yes, I know him, yeah. Philip Collins, oh yeah, I know Philip Collins. And all these 2 or 3 people I knew.
Yeah.
And I said, are you sure you want me to contribute? I said, these people are acknowledged Dickens specialists. Yeah, she said, but I can see that you are, so I would really like you to contribute. I said, oh, right, okay. What would you like me to contribute? What sort of contribution do you want? She said, they're only short. She said, I'm sorry, I'll have to restrict you to 500 words. And I thought, flipping heck, that's not a lot, is it? Mm. But still, it's nice to be asked. And I'm participating with a group of people who I'm aware of who are acknowledged as, these are the top men in the
How
genre.
amazing is that?
Yeah. She said, well, how about if you write about his last public reading? Yeah, that's no problem. I said, fine. Yep. I said he did it at Blackburn. Blackburn. I said, yeah, I can do that. No problem. Okay, 500 words. Right. Doctor, can't remember her name now, Elizabeth something. Anyway, so I go home and I think 500 words. Well, I've got a nasty habit. If somebody gives me a title or something, I sit down and think, right, and I don't bother counting the words.
Does it have to be exactly 500?
Well, you'll see. So, and I have a nasty habit of doing that. So if you ask me for 1,000 words, you'll end up with 1,600 or whatever. I never run short. Luckily, I never run short of the number of words that are needed.
That is good.
So I finish it, and it was, I think, 1,200 words. I thought, she's not going to like that. She's not going to like that. And there's no point sending her that because she specifically said this is an important symposium and she wants everything much the same. Right, I'll edit it down. So I start editing it down. There's nothing worse, as you know, probably from your profession, editing something down. What the heck do you take out that you feel could come out?
Yeah, that's the hard bit.
Yes, yeah. So I edit it down. I get it to 600, right? And I give up. I think, no, I'm not going any less. Otherwise, it's lost its meaning.
Yeah, or the substance in it.
Yeah, it's gone. All the blinking flesh has gone off the bones. There's nothing there. Yeah. Charles Dickens did a talk in Blackburn and then he retired. Yeah, let's say that. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you another story similar to this in a minute. Yep. So I thought, blow it. I'll bite the bullet and tell her. I'm not sending it because she might go no. So I emailed her, Elizabeth, I've done it, but I'm afraid I can't get it less than 600 words to be meaningful. Gerry, I'll accept that from you. Oh, right, okay, I'll send it you. So I send it to her. She comes back. It's difficult saying these things, but I can only tell you as it happens. She comes back and she said, I cannot believe that in 600 words, you've got all those facts in there.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that. And it reads it flows so well. I thought, I've had a hell of a job taking good stuff out, But she said, that's fine. Perfect. Okay, good. Thanks. I emailed her back. Thank you. That's very good. So I think that's the last I've heard of it till it's published.
Yeah.
It is published now. So it's out there. And I'm with these dignitaries. Yeah. And, she then comes back to me again and says, one last thing, Gerry. You'll laugh at this, I think, because it's something I've avoided all my life. With Professor Michael and Philip Collins and the others, she said, I've got a few words about them. what they do or whatever. And I've avoided that. I think one book, I can only think of one in which the publisher not insisted, but I'd like a few words where I've got 2 very short paragraphs.
About yourself?
Yeah.
Ooh.
2 very short paragraphs. So this time I thought, oh gosh. So I sent her 5 words.
5 words.
Right?
Cool.
Yep, I sent her 5 words. Will this do? You see? She comes back and says, magnificent. Which I thought was over the top when you've only written 5.
Yeah. Wow.
I
bet you doubted how good your 600 words were then.
Magnificent. I just put writer, student of Victorian literature. Yep, and left it at that. It went down well. It just goes
to show, like, less is more, isn't it?
Yes.
Something like that, like you just said.
One of the poems in this book's 4 words, and I've had any number of... 4 words. And
4
I've had
words.
any number of people saying that is their favourite poem in the book and the most touching.
Oh, wow.
What are the 4 words?
Which I find incredible.
Yeah.
When the first person said it, I thought...
They're being polite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what one of the poems from the book, but just before we go to the poems in the book, I think it's important that we touch on why you decided to write the book that you were talking about. Because obviously, sadly, you did lose your wife, and that's what sparked you writing the book.
That's the lost love. Linda is the lost love.
Yeah.
That's why it's hyphenated. It's a sort of 2-noun title. The Lost Love Poems. i.e. I've lost Linda of a madman. Madman breakdown. And Linda was magnificent in looking after me. Oh, I did start to tell you one amusing incident. There's a number which aren't as amusing that she sort of managed to handle very well. But this one, I wanted to run away.
Okay.
Just get away from everything.
I'm in a bad place. I want to get away. So I suddenly jump up out of the door and off down Gorton Street, right? God bless her. Linda, we're in a bit older times here, so it's not when she's still playing badminton and all that. Not as fit as me or anything, comes running after me. Well, the poor girl had no chance of catching me. No chance.
You're like a whippet.
Yes, it was. Well, the adrenaline's pumping, isn't it, when you're in a bad way? And she gave up halfway down Gorton Street and thought, well, I can't do it,
No.
I didn't give up, though. I ended up at Stanley Park. At which point I thought, I must have been coming round a bit and thought, what am I doing? Where am I going? Get back home. So I came home. And she calmed me down and everything, yeah. Oh, she was magnificent. Is it all right to say a couple of the incidents or not?
Of course,
yeah, absolutely, Gerry.
Again, I was in a very bad way mentally, and voices from the ceiling and all sorts of stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I can't handle this anymore. So I'd got a new leather jacket. It's pouring with rain. Again, I think, I've got to get away. Get away from this. They're all at me. So I run out, pouring with rain. Where you met me the first time we met, in Gutter Street there.
Yeah.
Linda found me crawling up the gutter, soaking wet, thinking I was climbing the north face of the Eiger. Yeah. She dragged me back in somehow. She managed to get me back in, stripped me off because I'm soaking wet, brand new leather jacket, and soaking wet. And she drags me in, gets towels to start toweling me off, at which point I'm stark naked. I think, I'm going again. And,
not in the rain.
I start to run out of the door.
Oh, wow.
Luckily, she got me in, got me back in. But some terrible.
What do you know? What sparked that breakdown?
I wish I knew. Yeah, well, I'm in a high-profile job for a kick-off. I'm doing all these other things. everywhere I go, even Deborah used to say, we'd go to Portsmouth or whatever. Gerry, and want a piece of you.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Everywhere we went. Because Deborah would usually say to me, who was that, Dad? I think I might have told you about Alan Knott. Who's that England wicketkeeper when we met at Lord's? Who's that? I said, well, he's the greatest wicketkeeper England ever had, probably. And other people who've come, John Wright, the New Zealand captain, and I think eventually it just drips away at you and you just cannot take any more.
Yeah.
Like you say, everyone's taking a piece of you.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing
Yeah,
left,
you've nothing, have you? Nothing for yourself or anything.
No.
Yeah, I'm only guessing. The thing is, my mum recognised it coming on. My mum had a breakdown, let me just point out.
Okay.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So she spotted the signs.
Yeah. My mum spotted the signs. And I think she told Linda, and Linda said, yeah, I am a bit worried. It never caused any rows between Linda and I. She was magnificent in looking after me. All she did say later on was, I did worry a bit that our marriage would survive.
Yeah.
I said, Linda, you knew it would. And I said, think of that song, Even the Bad Times Are Good.
Yeah.
That's the way I view it now.
Yeah.
I didn't view it that way at the time.
No.
But she was so tremendously calming influence, which was what she's like.
Yeah. How long did it last for, that?
Some months.
Yeah.
Some months. And caused me to take early retirement.
Well, did it?
Yeah. And the doctors told me that.
Right.
And I defied them. That's how bad it is. I defied them. We went to see one doctor and it ended up, this was embarrassing, at Warwick Hill in a screaming fit. I'm screaming the place down. And there's people outside waiting to see people,
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said in the end, he went, look, Gerry, I'm going to leave the room. Linda, I'm leaving him to you for quarter of an hour. I'll come back in quarter of an hour.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do then. And Linda calmed me down. Yeah. Oh, God, Racky, I'll never forget that. And I had to walk out afterwards through these people. And I thought, oh, they're going to look at me and think, But then I thought, well, I'm going to have to get out. So you're just going to have to do it. Yeah. My mum saw it coming. And I think Linda probably did as well.
Yeah. How was it being, obviously?
And the doctor said to me, by the way, you're going to retire. I said, I'm not retiring. I'm going back next week.
Yeah.
And I came home. Well, Linda was sat in the car. And I said, Dr. Barlow wants sacking. I said, he said I should retire. What's he talking about? I said, I'm going back next week. Anyway, I did go back. It only lasted 2 weeks, I think. Couldn't hack it at all by then. I'd gone completely. And so I went to see him again a few months later. I said, Dr. Barlow, I owe you an apology. Mm-hmm. He said, why? You've not done anything to upset me? Oh, yes, I said, I have. I said, do you remember when you saw me last? He said, yeah, of course I do. I said, well, I went home and told my wife. I didn't say she was sat in the car. I said, I went home and told my wife, he doesn't deserve to be practising. He said I should retire. I said, I beg your pardon. I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
How was it being a man back then and going through what you did? Because I know there's like a bit of a stigma about, around men and mental health and being stern. It's like getting better. But obviously, when you had a breakdown, like I could imagine that being a man, it was quite difficult at that stage.
Talk about,
yeah, did you feel that?
The other thing was I'll use the name as though it's not me.
Yeah.
With Gerry Wolstenholme, everybody, to a man or a woman, said, no, that can't happen to him.
Yeah.
He's in complete control.
Mm-hmm.
He's got everything at his fingertips. No problems. They didn't know.
No.
And one psychiatrist said to me, which I took on board a bit, because I think I said to you, I told Linda I was shy, and she said, you're not shy.
Yeah.
I said, I am. Underneath, I'm shy. I said, but if you want to get on in this world, you can't afford to be shy because you'll never get on.
Yeah.
True.
So I said, and this doctor said to me, without knowing I'd said that, he said, I think one of the contributory factors to this is you've led a life contrary to your natural instincts.
Very true.
Wow.
And I thought,
Yeah.
he could be
it's
right
going against
there.
everything that you
He could
want to do.
He could be right there.
Yeah,
Very true.
to an extent.
Yeah. If I'd just thought, oh, well, I'll be a
Yeah.
Victorian wallflower and just swan along.
But that's not you.
I had a very good friend of mine, Ted Lightbound. God bless him, he sadly died. I was chairing a meeting one night, starting at 5 o'clock, overlooking the car park. Ted walks out. Now, Ted had worked for me, went to St. Joseph College, brainy lad, no interest in getting on. I tried to push him, succeeded for a while, but he fell back into his old ways, which was his choice.
Yeah.
You know, that's okay. So we're just about to start this meeting. I think I'd just introduced it, and Ted appeared crossing this car park to get in his car. It might have been a bit earlier than 5. And I said, just a sec before we start. So this could have been the start of things. I said, see that chap walking over to the car there? I said, I've known him for 30, 40 years. I said, he started in this game as a clerical officer. 40 years later, he's still a clerical officer.
Mm-hmm.
He's going home. He's not got a care in the world. He's not going to think, what's going to happen to national savings now if I don't do this or that or the other? I said, he doesn't care. He just does his job, goes home, comes in the morning and starts again.
Yeah.
I said, who's got it right? Him or us? You know.
I say that to myself all the time.
Do you?
Yeah.
I honestly really resonate
Yeah.
with me with that, because as like a business owner and, you know, being self-employed
Yeah.
for so many years, like, you know, at one point I had a lot of staff working for me, and they all relied on me being that figure. Like, I had to come in because I ultimately was providing how all them pay the mortgage or put food on the table. And I've often questioned myself, and I think quite a lot of people do this, is like, who's got it the right way? Like, they come in, they do the job,
They
go
switch off.
home,
Switch off.
they switch off.
Yes.
Like, I genuinely have to go home with the weight of the world on me
Yes.
quite a lot of times.
Correct.
And then, you know, but is that worth it? What's the trade-off there? And I completely get what you were saying.
Yeah,
It's a fact, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely.
And they'll never see that element of it as well. And it's for me, it's a bit of a gift as well, because again, they can go on, spend time with a family without thinking about 5 different things in their head at the same time.
I used to shave in the morning thinking, how's that Data Vet program going to work when I make that change?
It just
you know,
never
or
stops.
whatever.
It never stops.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. So,
I
yeah,
think
resonate
that was
with
partly of it.
Yeah.
I did try drugs for a while,
Right.
but when we went in town, I wouldn't go out. I would not go out.
No.
I would not answer the phone. Nothing. It was brilliant. Linda was superb. No, sorry, he can't speak to you. You know, somebody was coming round to see me. She said, "You're not having him round. I'll tell you that now, because he'll only aggravate the situation."
Yeah.
So she rang him up and said, "I'm sorry, he's not well. You can't come round." Yeah, she was brilliant.
What year was this? Sorry, as well, Gerry.
1994 to 6, say, something like that.
Oh, so it's a few years then.
Over that period.
Right.
But I was getting. No, I don't think you ever get better, because I still suffer now, to be honest, with different things. But the secret is, and I've written about this as well, managing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is learning to manage it, because you can overcome it far quicker if you were able to. Yeah. And that's how I got better in the end, thinking I'll manage it somehow. But the reason I stopped the drugs, I wouldn't go out, and then when I decided I'll go and meet Linda, she worked in Queen Street, I'd take my mum with me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go shopping, I'd take my mum with me or whatever. Anyway, so my mum, Linda, and I walking home from Queen Street, one of my colleagues from the office sees us, and he knew Linda. Hi, Linda. Hi, Gerry. And I'm drugged up, okay?
Yeah.
Hi, Bob. And I heard him say to Linda this is what prompted it. I heard him say to Linda, "What's the matter with Gerry?" I can't remember how Linda answered or whatever. But when I got home, I said to Linda, "Why did Bob ask what's the matter with Gerry?" And Linda said, and this was, drugs stopped that night.
Wow,
Yeah.
the catalyst then.
Linda said, "Well, because you are a bit of a zombie."
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
What? Yeah, I said, well, that's that medication. And I stopped it. Hey, I was so ill stopping it just like that, because you're not supposed to stop that medication. You wean yourself off it, don't you? Because I went into the post office and to post something, and Tracy, the girl I know there, said, what's the matter with you? You look terrible. I said, yeah, I've just stopped taking a cyclamen or something with a C anyway. Oh, you don't stop that, she said.
Yeah,
you take half
and
then a quarter and get yourself off it. I said, I didn't. So, because I said to her, I think I'm dying. Yeah. Not laughing. I wasn't joking.
No, definitely not. How old was your daughter at this stage then?
Deborah had just got married.
Oh, right, okay.
So she'd left home.
Oh, right, okay.
Fortunately.
Yeah.
I think she saw it coming as well. She's a bit the same. It's obviously a gene in our family, because my mum was... I went to see my mum in Charing Cross Mental Hospital. Gosh, I was shocked to death. And my mum was a strong person. Right. Very strong. And Deborah suffers a little bit. But again, she's worked out...
how to manage.
Yeah. And she's packed in working for people now.
Yeah.
And working for herself.
Right. Amazing.
Because she said, I can't stand any more of that.
No.
You know.
Sorry, love, go on.
No, I was just going to say, what would you say helps you manage it?
Well, I think the first thing is realisation, because I didn't accept it to start with. When the doctor told me to begin with, you're having a breakdown, I went home and said, what's he talking about?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like noticing and like believing it.
And then there's so many factors involved in it, sleeplessness and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, I've never got back to sleeping since Linda died.
Yeah.
I'm reading at 2:00 in the morning, not every night, but quite often. Or get up to go to the loo, and I start sorting books in Deborah's bedroom or something, you know. Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. But I've got into that way now, and...
What's the title of the book that you wrote about this? But I think it would be nice if anyone's watching this and they want to go and read that book about how you actually...
Well, it's not The Lost Love Poems of a Madman. It's not...
Sorry, the book about like how to deal with like mental health, because you said that you mentioned that you actually wrote a book about like...
No, not a book. I wrote articles.
Right. And articles, all right. Okay, fair enough.
Magazine. Yeah, this covers some of it.
Okay.
There's things in here. You know, you were so sweet when we first did meet, you know, and things like that. I'll give you one. Oh, no, that's in the other one.
Give us your favourite one, if you don't mind, Gerry. I'd love to know which one your favourite one is.
I thought this was good. I wrote this on the first day at the funeral, the afternoon of the funeral. I went on the sands and had a walk just to clear my head. I've got a photograph which I nearly brought in, but I thought, well, it won't mean anything to you because the three people in it, Dave Tudor was the lad who was with me when I first saw Linda. I'm the second, and the third one is Dorothy, the friend who was with Linda.
Right, okay.
And there's just one missing. And I wrote this the afternoon of her funeral. Let's just see. I know it by heart, I think, this one, because it's only 4 lines. I wrote you messages in the sand, remembering when times were really grand. The tide came in and washed it all away. Just as in your passing, sadly, I had no say. Because I wrote, I love Linda, kiss, kiss, kiss in the sand, and the tide came in and washed it all away. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I quite like that one. And the one that everybody said, this is it. Now, I don't want you laughing because I wouldn't want to. No, I'm joking, but you know what I mean. And I don't want to look on it as though, what are they talking about? Because 4 of them have said it. It's called A Plea.
A Plea.
And the 4 words, 1 on each line. Linda, please help me. Well, it's very difficult when she's died, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's another funny one, which Deborah thought was great. And this, I know why this one, I could have told why all these were written. Yeah, here we are. This is meaningless. I know we can have a laugh about it when I said I can't even read it to you because it doesn't make sense. It's nothing. It's called In My Head. And it simply goes and it memes all the way through.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Can I have a look at the wording on it?
Down at the bottom there.
In my head. Yeah.
But it meant something to you. You knew what it meant.
Yeah. Oh. No one else does, I'm sure.
No.
But I think they get the idea that, you know, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But as for going back to your question about, I think you need a lot of luck to get in your own. Oh, I wrote this on the day she died as well. Sorry. Do you want, shall I read another?
Yeah,
100%,
I'd love to,
please.
yeah.
This is just called Linda.
Okay.
I miss you so. This was the day she died, I wrote this. I miss you so, I'm sure you know. I still love you, and we can't woo. The days are long, now without a song. My eyes are watering. My soulmate gone, I now have none. It was so great, we met by fate, and I could see just you and me. The times we had made me glad, made my heart whirl. I had found my East End girl. When you weren't there, I missed your care. It was as though time went so slow. That loving kiss is what I miss. To hold you close, I miss the most. But never fear, for you are near. You're in my heart. We'll never part. I love you so. Don't ever go.
Oh, yeah. Gerry, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That was written
lovely.
the day she died, yeah.
Did it help the pain at all?
Well, I think it was all a bit cathartic, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that. I don't know what went wrong on the 11th of August 2005, but something obviously did.
Why?
I was sad. I am mad. The thunder rolled around the sky like a tornado attacking the brain. Then the rain came down in torrents. It was a maelstrom. And then I stopped. But I was still sad, and I am still mad. I hope I'm not, but I was on the 11th of August 2005. Yeah. Yeah, it's I quite like poetry. I've done some other poems as well. I did an annual poem to start with for about the first 10 years, every year. And I wrote one poem. I've done a couple. Robert Browning wrote Home Thoughts from Abroad, and I wrote a parody called Sad Thoughts for Linda or something like that, and paraphrased his poem. And I put at the end with apologies to Robert Browning. And I also wrote, you'll know this, I'll just tell you the first verse of a 35-verse poem that I wrote.
How many, sorry?
35
verses.
Yeah. The first verse came to me walking to the gym, walking past the cricket ground after a particular incident. Thought this poem up. By the time I'd got to the gym, I'd written this first verse, which wasn't difficult when you see what I've done. Nothing to write it on or anything. As I walk in, Andy Holt, my trainer for the heart, was there. Andy, have you got a pen? Yeah. I got a receipt from the till, and on the back of it, I've still got it at home, I wrote that first verse down. Yeah. I wandered... let me just think. I wandered lonely to the ground. When I got there, what was it that I found? No golden daffodils fluttering and dancing in the breeze, just raindrops dripping from the sodden trees. And it was a cricket poem about a game that never took place because it rained for 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And the rest of the poem talks about the characters involved in that. But I cribbed that off William Wordsworth, obviously, from Daffodils.
I could listen to you tell a poem.
Yeah, it's very hypnotising, isn't
yeah,
it?
it really is.
It
genuinely is. Yeah, I can sort of see like a room, like in a library situation where there's loads of people just listening to you. Yeah, wow, amazing.
Wait for me. Here's a short one. Wait for me. Soulmate, so great. Take care until I get there. I hope that's true.
That's 100% true.
Amazing. I hope you don't mind me asking you this, Gerry, and please,
No, I
if you
don't
don't
mind
want
at
to,
all.
if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to
Don't
answer
mind
it.
at
But
all.
what
I
was
regard, honestly, I've loved every minute I've spent with you.
Oh,
Same.
You've been a great couple
Same.
and comforting, you know, and yep. So
It's
ask
good
away.
to talk, isn't it?
No, I know, like, obviously how much your wife meant to you, and even till to today, like, you know, the routines you have in the gym and things like that. That basically, you know, putting obviously in the mirror. You love her still as much today as
I
you
do.
probably, or
Yeah.
even more. So.
I've sent her cards. I've sent hundreds of cards to her. Not hundreds, but there's 100 definitely
Yeah.
since she died.
What, for like bit or just any kind of card?
Meaningful cards.
Yeah.
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 That I would have sent her. Oh, sorry, to
Right.
show her my love or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a proper love story.
Yeah, sorry.
it is.
So ask away.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, how can you even answer this? But what was the experience of losing your wife like? Was it just the most horrible situation you could ever imagine?
Well, in a single word, yes.
Yeah.
No, but I can remember. I think there might be a poem in here, or whether it's one of my new ones. Look at that at the end. Look at the tailpiece I wrote there.
Oh, wow.
Oh no. That's what it says.
And a sad face.
Yeah.
Yeah, tailpiece. Oh, and that's about the heart surgery. I think I told you when I was setting this book up. That's another thing, you see. I've tried to keep a bit of control on my books when they're being done, if I can.
Yeah.
I can't always do that. And that page was white. And I thought, heart surgery, I've not mentioned them. So I wrote that and gave them copies at the hospital because they're all mentioned in it.
Oh.
So the worst thing, and this happens to everybody, I'm sure, the worst thing was when that breathing stopped.
Right.
Yeah.
And the room went quiet. Oh, it hits you then. She won't be speaking again or whatever. Yeah, it was.
So you were with her? Was it just you and Linda?
No, her mum came with me.
Okay.
Yeah, her mum was quite different in that she was very good. She didn't cry because she's not a crier. She was a hard lady, you know.
They're very stoic back then, weren't they?
Yeah, she was. Her dad didn't know because he'd got Alzheimer's and he'd lost the plot anyway.
Right.
Okay.
So it didn't matter.
No.
But yeah.
She was quite young then, if her mum and dad was still alive. How old was she, by the way?
Who, Linda?
Yeah.
56.
Oh, wow.
That's why I do, 56 press-ups or whatever. And everything I do is geared to, like I did a quick 4:04 on one of the bikes today for 4th of April, Linda's birthday. And I did 1726, which was her age in years and days when we first went out. I've got all sorts of. If I want to do a lot, I'll do 3902, which was the number of years we were together.
Yeah, incredible. That
it's just it just suits me and keeps her in my mind. Not that I ever forget her. No, I don't.
It's just another way to just have her with you all the time.
Yeah. Well, perhaps she is from what these ladies.
Exactly that.
It's amazing. Sometimes I've had a couple of experiences. One in particular, where I rang Deborah the first thing the next day. Deborah said, "I'll tell you something. Your mum was here last night and gave me a kiss." Deborah believes, you see. Deborah believes.
I believe in that.
Yes, we are.
I said, "Your mum was here last night and gave me a kiss." I said, "I'm telling you now." She'd put her face next to mine and gave me a kiss. I woke up startled and went, "Linda, don't go, don't go." And she went, yeah. Deborah believes all that, which I think I do now. But it doesn't happen often enough.
No,
if I think,
I bet.
Let me dream about her or whatever, you don't.
No.
I do sometimes, but that was so real. So real.
And how many years ago was this, sorry?
21, last week.
Oh, was it 21?
Last Wednesday.
Wow.
So it's 25th of June, I'm always a wreck. But this year
I
I've
remember
got
you
cricket.
saying that we spoke, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm always a wreck on the 25th of June, always. But it was very, when she finally, I knew that she was dying when on the Tuesday night she said, because she wouldn't have said this otherwise, "Gerry, get yourself another lady friend, please. I don't want you being alone for the rest of your life. And I looked at her and I said, Linda, what are you talking about? She said, I'm just telling you. I said, yeah, well, I'm sorry, but it won't apply. I said, there's only one girl for me, and that's you. Mm-hmm. I said, so don't even think about it. Do not even worry about it or think about it. And I've never dated anybody. I've been out once with a young lady who was my aqua instructor, just when I'd got a spare theatre ticket that somebody bought me to for my birthday. Mm-hmm. I don't know who he thought I was going to take, because he knew Linda. And I said it to Emma, the aqua teacher, and she said, I'll come with you. She's 24. Mm-hmm. I'll come with you by all means. It'll be a nice night out. So I said, yeah, that's fine. Come round for tea. I'll make you tea. Oh, I don't eat red meat. I said, it's okay. I'll do chicken. Don't worry. Hey, says me, as though I'm a cook. If you see the T-shirt Deborah designed me, you'll know I'm not.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this one. Yeah.
You'll know I'm not. My dad is not a cook. They cooked it very badly. And he is silly, she wrote.
And then put it on a T-shirt.
It's on a T-shirt for me. And the teacher had the cheek to tick her book. Very good, Deborah. Let me see her. Yeah.
So you've never dated or
nope.
even...
No.
Never even looked. Well, the funny thing is, I'm not a... I do quite like... I like ladies' company, don't get me wrong, especially when we were married, and I didn't take advantage of them. But what I mean is, I was always friendly with the girls I worked with and everything. And appreciated them. I don't now.
No.
I don't particularly now look at them and think, hey, very nice, you know.
No. I suppose, like, your priorities change in your head.
Yeah, they do.
They
do. Simple as that. Yeah. Yeah, but as for that earlier question you asked, you do need luck to get into the published market.
Yeah.
And I must have had it somehow. Somebody, I think I did I do 3 books on my own before somebody picked me up?
Wow.
Can't remember whether it was 2 or 3. It might have just been 2. From Peak to Pool I wrote the West Indies tour of England. I've got that on a T-shirt. Deborah did me a T-shirt of that, because she designed the cover of that all by hand.
Wow.
And it's brilliant. Yeah, it is
We've
really
seen
good.
some of Deborah's illustrations, but they're beautiful.
It's really good.
Really, really good.
She is good.
Oh, she's a super artist. Mm-hmm. She just doesn't take advantage of it. And as I've said, the book she's written, you won't know this chap, but there's a chap called Edward Gorey. Mm-hmm. He's very surreal, very funny. I love him, only through Deborah. And she's written in his style.
Right.
Short, pithy, to the point, collaged all the illustrations, and I want to get it published. I'll pay for the publishing, don't worry. Mm-hmm. But
she doesn't want to do it.
Well, she won't produce me a title page.
Oh.
I can't, produce a matching title page.
No.
Because I'm not in that league. And I've nagged her. And I nearly bit the bullet and did one, but then I thought it'll ruin the whole effect, because it's such a colourful thing. What's it called now? It's 2 cats anyway, find themselves missing.
Right.
It's rather cute.
Yeah.
I like it. And I've reviewed it on Goodreads.
Mm-hmm. We'll check that out then.
I've put it on Goodreads and reviewed it. Yeah.
Nice.
You'd have to put him Penelope and well, I've forgotten its name now, but I've reviewed it and quite a few people have liked it, and thought, hey, yeah, that's good. But nobody's picked up on it. And I did put all it needs now is a publisher, just as a joke.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy, is it?
No.
But you see, the other thing is, I did, as well as what we've just talked about, starting with books, I produced the Cheltenham Spectator and Festival News for 8 years, which was a daily account of activity at the Cheltenham Festival. And it's it's an interesting story in itself, because we used to I'd go back after the day's play, I'd write the account, I'd get Deborah to illustrate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slip the illustrations in, or I'd leave space in where I'd done it and say, in there, put a cartoon explaining that Tom Moody drove to the boundary every day. So she brought a car and a ball in front of it, and, like that. And then we go to the printers the next morning, get it printed, take it to the ground, give it to my friends, and if there were any left, anybody wanted it for 20p or whatever, paid the printing costs. I only did about 30 to 50 copies each day, but it went down really well.
Yeah.
You can't get it now for love nor money.
Oh, honestly.
You cannot get it. When my dad died, I sent his copy, because everything I wrote, I gave my dad a copy.
Yeah.
And when he died, quite funny really, in his wardrobe, there was a stack of stuff this high of things I've written, God bless him, and he kept them all, yeah.
That's literally like my dad. Everything that I do, my dad either like files it or he laminates it, and he keeps everything.
Yeah.
He's so proud.
My dad did.
He's on that journey with me, and I love it.
My dad did
Yeah.
that. He'd even comment sometimes
Yeah.
and make a suggestion, in fairness.
Yeah, my dad's like that.
Yeah, he'd
I
make a
love it.
suggestion. And I'd take it into account if I thought it was right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fine. So, and Deborah designed it's a broadsheet. So I said to Deborah, I want a banner headline representing Cheltenham, cricket, and she did a brilliant headline. The only regret I've got about it, in this 8 years, in the middle of it, we changed it for 1 year and it wasn't quite the same. So we went back to the old one.
Went back to the original. Yeah. You've got to sometimes pick it up.
Yeah.
And I did that myself. And then a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, John Cross, smashing lad, he was a member of the Football Postcard Collectors Club. And I said to him one day, this needs a cricket equivalent, cricket postcard collectors, but I'm not calling it a club. I think I called it a journal. And I said, I'm going to do one. So I did one. I ended up doing 24 over about 3 years. I didn't advertise it as a buyable option because I wanted to do it when I felt like it. And I didn't particularly want to charge anybody. Yeah. I said, so I put a note in that magazine I told you. Incidentally, that magazine I told you relates to this, Cricket, where Linda said, the only good article in there is yours. And I never read them. When she died and the magazine came, I read the magazines. Because if I wanted to know anything, she'd tell me out of that. So I didn't need to read it. Yeah. So I read them and I thought, by God, she's right. And I hated saying it, but I said, she's right. They are ephemeral, the rest of them. They could be much better than that. Yeah. Yeah, so I wrote this journal and I advertised it in that magazine and said, anybody wants a copy, send me a postage stamp and I'll send it every time it comes out.
Wow.
And so I did that for 24 issues and I stopped it because, like you said about your dad, my dad loved that journal and thought, where have you got all this stuff from? Yeah. And when he died, my enthusiasm, I did one in memory of him, just to say to my dad, and then I stopped it. Yeah. Everybody was mortified. No. Oh, they were all so upset. When I look back on it, it was, and I'll tell you what, if you've got a quick minute for another story, this is interesting. A spin-off from that, a chap called Irving Rosenwater, famous cricket writer, wrote to me and sent me an article. Because I advertised, anybody wants to do any articles? Out of 24 issues, I got 2 articles. One of them was absolute garbage. I had to rewrite it. It was a friend of mine, so I rewrote it. When I came out and sent it, he was dead chuffed. Stan Beecham, by Stan Beecham. He was dead chuffed. Never mind the fact that I tarted it up to make it. Yeah. Fair. I don't like saying good enough, but fair. But Irving, professional writer, he comes along. Gerry, if you'd like, you can publish this. He said, on one condition. I said, what's that, Irving? He said, I don't want any words changed. Irving, I said, a man after my own heart. I would not want anybody to change anything I wrote. No. If I wrote in the middle of a book, this is absolute rubbish, I would want it to appear. Yeah. I don't want somebody to change it. So I understand completely. So we got on like a house on fire. Anyway, he was much, much older than me. He died. And being in the book trade, I knew the bookseller who bought his stuff. 30 tons of it in 2 Pantechnicons.
Wow. And
one day, one of my publishers was at my house and Irving's catalogue dropped through the door. Chris Saunders is the bookseller. His catalogue of Irving's collection, part 1, a bit like we're doing, dropped through the door. So while I'm talking with Martin, I browse at this and I see a couple of things Irving's wrote. A Christmas card, say, to Adam and Vicky. Mm-hmm. And he'd write you a little account of a match or something, just a little bit of cricket frippery. And I jokingly said to, well, not joking, first of all, I said to Martin, hey, look at this. Irving's done this, looking 50 quid. I said, crikey, that's ridiculous. And Martin said, yeah, well, it's scarce and people want it, don't they? Yeah, okay. And I said, throwaway line. And I wasn't being clever. I just throw away. I went, I could write one of those every week.
No.
And I wasn't being clever.
No.
Because I've got loads of stories. I could write one of those every week. All right. Nothing more said till he's going. He gets to the door. Right. By the way, Gerry, he said, if you think you can write one of those, do one. So when he went, as soon as he closed the door, I thought, I'll show him.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. So I wrote the first one, and that, funnily enough, was another about 30 verse, an epic cricket poem.
Wow.
But Irving's was just written on a piece of paper, Adam and Vicky, boom.
Yeah.
I thought, no, done this slightly different. We need a title page. We need a limitation page. We've got to decide on a number that we're going to do. We need some casing for it. And then it looks like a finished job. Mm-hmm. So I went to work on doing a title page. I thought, we'll do 10 copies. We'll do 10 copies, number them and sign them. Bought some folders and put them in folders. Martin came the next time, put them on the table. Told you I could do one of those. All right. I'll put them on eBay. He said, I'll put one on eBay. I said, I wouldn't bother. I gave a couple to my mates because I wasn't doing it for money. I did a couple to my mates. And he said, I'll put it on eBay. He rang me up later that day and said when he'd gone home, he lived in Bolton, he said, I'll put it on eBay. I said, best of luck. What have you started at? He said, 99 pence. I said, yeah, that's about right. If you get a quid for it, you'll have done well. Mm-hmm. What are you talking about? He said, I'll get double figures. I said, Martin, don't be so stupid. I said, I produced it on my own computer, printed it off myself. You're not going to get double figures for that. He said, well, I'll get double figures, I'm telling you. I said, well, I'll tell you what. If you get double figures, next time you come over, I'll take you out for dinner. You're on, he said. 10 days later, he rings me. It's finished. Oh, good. Did you get your 99 pence? No, he said, I didn't. Oh, right. What did you get? He said, £16.
Double figures.
Double figures.
And my dad brought me up, if you make a bet, because my dad was a bit of a gambler in his younger days. My dad was a bit of a gambler in his younger days because my mum said sometimes he'd come home and he'd lost his wages or something, when he was managing the Bloomfield Bakery because they played cards at night while the bread's cooking. Yeah. Not often, but my mum said he did do that. Because the other thing my mum told me about my dad is a big whiskey drinker. My dad, when he died, what was I? 50. 51. Yeah. When he died, I was 51. I'd never seen a drink pass his lips.
What?
Yeah, never. And my mum said he was a big whiskey drinker. Wow. I couldn't believe it. I said, are you sure?
That's crazy, isn't it? So you've never seen him drink?
No. Never seen him take a drink.
So he must have purposely done that, hadn't he, for you not to see it?
Probably.
Oh.
Yeah, he never drank a drop. Anyway, so my dad always said you pay your debts.
Yeah.
So I took him out to dinner. I said, I'll do another. Thought I'll get my money back. So I do another. Same thing, same bet.
On eBay?
Yeah, right. eBay. A few quid more or whatever, I said, I won't pay you just yet because I'll write a third and we'll have double or quits.
Right.
Okay.
So I do a third, I lose that one. So I do a fourth. Same bet. So it's 1 dinner, 2 dinners, 4 dinners, and I do a fourth, 8 dinners, because they all go for double figures. And the price was going up a bit. We're into the 30s now.
Right.
No,
Wow.
20s. We're into the
Wow.
20s. Heck, Martin, I said, I'm going to be taking you out for the rest of our lives if I'm not careful here. So the next time he came, I deliberately did this because I thought, I know a way to get my money back. I wrote 1 page. 1 page.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How many pages were the others?
They varied.
Right.
It depended on the subject I was picking. Some
Right.
were 12. I think the longest one I've done, because it only fits in the folder, is about 16 or 18 pages.
Right.
There was no illustrations in the first ones.
Wow.
And then I thought, I ought to illustrate these. I've got some illustrations that can accompany these tales.
Yeah.
So I started putting illustrations in.
Right.
I've not done yet. The first 5 are illustration less.
Right.
Anyway, the 5th one, he comes round. Right, Martin, you've been very, very clever getting double figures for all these. Please try and get double figures for that.
1 page.
Put it down. There's a title page which just says George Duckworth talks at the Fleetwood Fireside Community or whatever.
Yeah.
Copy number, he always gave him 2 of 10. Gerry Wolstenholme,
Yeah.
bump. Get double figures for that, you clever devil. He rings me up when it's finished. £32.
Wow.
1 page. Get out of it.
No way. Well, here's you.
So when he comes, I say, oh, Martin, this is getting ridiculous. I owe you now 16 dinners. What the hell are we going to do? He said, look, in the circumstances, because he sold 2 or 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
He only put 1 on eBay, but he always gave a second chance or whatever, and sold that for £1 less or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right? So he says, forget it. I'm not bothered. You sure? Yeah. So I carried on doing them, and I'm having breakfast one day, and on my little Nokia, a message comes. Gerry, it's Martin. There's a record for limited edition of 10s, because we kept calling them 10s just because we did 10 of them.
Yeah.
Limited edition of 10s has been broken. That was the first screen.
Right.
Can't be. I thought. I didn't flick it straight over because I sat and digested that and thought, can't be. Not broken, blown away. £49.95.
Wow.
6 pages or whatever.
Wow.
Come on, I said, this is ridiculous.
What a bet.
Anyway, we've now done 78 of them.
Wow.
And the record now, and I'm embarrassed to tell you, is £80.
Wow.
That's incredible.
And the last few have been regularly 60s.
Wow, incredible.
That's insane. That's amazing.
Yeah.
He
That's
sold
amazing.
3. He had 3 copies he sold
Yeah.
for £210.
Wow. Is he
Anyway.
still selling them now? Is this happening now then?
Well,
Or was this like...
I've not done any for a while,
Right.
but I'm going to do a couple because
Yeah.
I've got subjects in my mind all the time that I can do
Yeah.
them of.
Yeah.
But it's just getting round to it. I've got 5 books to go or whatever. It's so popular that I've had to write a book about it.
Wow.
I've written a book called 1 of 10, A History and Bibliography.
Yeah.
I've told the story exactly as I've told it you, except I've not put into print the frippery of the bets,
Right.
because I don't want people who've been paying this
No.
money
Thinking it's a
Yeah.
bet.
to
yeah,
look
of
at it and
course.
think, well, the devils, they robbed us or whatever. Not robbed us, but we've been paying that money and he's taking it as a joke.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it sort of started, but it's
course it
created
was.
something amazing,
It has.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, Martin eventually said to me, he said, look, I got mad with him for this. He said, I'm going to take a piece of blank paper out of my briefcase. I want you to sign it. Because he said, there are a lot of collectors of Gerry Wolstenholme out there. I said, no, don't be silly. He He said, I'm telling you. He said, I'm taking a piece of paper out of my bookcase, out of my briefcase, sign it. I'll put it on eBay. I bet you we sell it. I said, will you get out of this house? And, yeah. So it was, I will do a couple now. We've just talked about it again because I've got a couple in mind, which I could do. And I've dreamt up a new book through the game last week. I dreamt up a new book with the 5 I've already got to write. Anyway, 1 of 10, history and bibliography, is sold out because you kept getting questions from people. What am I missing in these series, you see?
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, because I certainly took it as a joke, not a joke, but as a bit of fun.
Yeah.
He didn't take much notice of it. Neither of us have made a note of the prices that each one fetched.
Right.
Which is, or who bought them. So we don't know who's got a full set, part set, or whatever.
What are they about, these? Are they about cricket, or are they about just other
Different
subjects?
sports.
What are they about?
Anything.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of them are cricket and a few football.
Yeah.
I even did one, may I borrow your umbrella, please? A chance remark and its consequences. And I wrote the story of my meeting Linda. That went for £36.
Wow.
You need to sell more of them. I think you've probably underestimated what business you've got.
I know.
Well, listen to this. So I write the bibliography because people are writing to Martin, what am I missing? So I said, tell him I'll write a book about them and he can see. Another friend of Martin's anyway, and I've met him, nice bloke, he's collected them. He decided he was getting rid of all his collection because he's 80. I'm going to get rid of them now, everything. So he brings them to Martin and says, you can sell them and we'll share the profits. So Martin calls me in and says, will you have a look at these? And yep, I'll look at them. So we look at them together. Yeah, good stuff, well done. And he got 32, I think it was, of my 10s.
Wow.
Right? And Martin had got these back. What shall I do with those? He said, shall I just put them in the general catalogue I'm going to issue? So I said, well, no, I think you'd be better putting them out as a catalogue on their own.
Yeah.
So he did. I think it was 12 or 13 of them went for in excess of £1,000.
Wow.
Honest. And then he got a supplementary order for £350 for 3 others.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Is that been more successful than some of your books, or in terms of how fast they've sold or for what they've sold for?
Well, they're only selling a few, so they've sold faster, certainly.
Yeah.
No, I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
You just don't know how it's going to go, do you?
I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
If ever I see any of my books, I buy them.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
No.
Because I don't like buying my own stuff back.
No, of course. But what's the bestseller review that you've had then?
Probably, well, it's hard to say really. We only do short runs.
Right.
But the long run, which thousands, was sold out because they remained about 30 copies, which I got wind of in Preston.
Right.
And I drove to Preston and bought them all for £5 each. Yeah. Because by that time, they were selling for 30, 40 quid.
Oh, right. Wow.
And some of them, somebody put one on at £3,000.
You're joking?
Which is ridiculous. Another was on at 300.
Yeah. And
I've seen them sell for 120. It's called Cup Kings 1953.
Cup Kings.
Cup Kings.
Yeah.
And a little story about it is the BBC used extracts from it without asking me.
Oh.
I didn't mind. I'm not bothered.
No.
But it was on a radio programme. I think I might have contributed. Did I contribute to that one? Anyway, it was on this radio programme. So I must have done, because I knew it was going to be on. And I listened to it and I didn't know it was going to be on that way. I knew this programme was on, but I didn't know they were going to quote me.
Right.
I wasn't bothered. But they missed a trick.
Why?
Because the particular thing they chose to comment on, and this happens, and this is what authors in writing the kind of thing factual that I do, you've got to be careful. Well, but you can't. You've got to draw the line somewhere and say that's it.
Yeah.
Invariably, you'll find something else that would have added nicely to what you've already written.
Of course.
But it's too late.
Yeah.
So the BBC quote this book, dirty, and I laugh and think, ha, ha, ha. If only they'd asked me, they would have had extra information they could have put out there.
Yeah.
I said, so they've missed out by not asking me. So I thought that was quite amusing.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that.
I thought that was quite amusing.
Yeah. It sounds an amazing career, though, because you can tell the passion you've got for it.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, everyone dreams about doing something that they're passionate about, and you
making a career through it as well.
It's odd. It's odd in a way, because probably like you in your business, I think nothing of it. I think, well, it's just something I do, and that's that.
Yeah.
But I've got one book signed by another author who's put in it, lovely inscription, to Gerry, a proper writer. Which I thought was nice.
Yeah.
That was very nice. I was really pleased with that. Yeah. So,
and you're still writing to today? You're still writing books then?
Oh, I've got 5 on the go.
Wow.
I've got 5 on the go in different states of completion.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. How do you manage that?
I was going to say, how do you manage that one?
Well, I just
when you're
move
ready
from
to go.
one to the other.
Yeah,
and think, I know what each of them's about. So
Yeah.
I have got one thing that I'm really annoyed at, and I shouldn't say it's it's a Dickens thing. And I looked at it the other day and thought, I wonder where I'm up to on that. So I look at it. On the train back, yeah, go on.
You're like, Gerry.
I'm half hoping, then there's about 20 pages of it written, I might, with a bit of luck, find a thread in there that, he must have mentioned that later. On the train back,
Oh, you didn't think that one through, did you, when you finished it there?
And it's really, I think it's good. I think it's good.
We'll look forward to that one.
Yeah.
One interesting story about writing. I got a phone call. I'll start it how it began in my house. I get a phone call from Deborah. Dad, you're not going to believe this. I said, what? She said, you know those Stanley Matthews football boots that's going up for auction? Somebody's doubting their authenticity. Right? Oh, are they? I said. Flipping heck. She said, yeah, let me bring the article up. I've not looked at it yet. She said, but I've seen the headline. She said, I'll look it up. So she looks it up and she goes down the other end of the phone. She goes, oh, heck. She said, Dad, it's you. It's the Daily Mail. She said, it's you. They're quoting you. I said, oh, are they? I said, yeah, I probably did say something like that, you know. I said, I'll tell you the full story now. I said, I got wind that these football boots were coming and I got invited to look at them. I looked at them and I said, I am very doubtful that those are the boots Matthews wore in the FA Cup final.
Okay.
I was lucky enough to know Stan well enough at the end of his life. And he'd show me a pair of boots that he used to wear regularly because he was the innovator of the continental style lower cut things, where you could bend them. And he'd always pull a boot out of his boot and bend it and show, look at that, Gerry.
Yeah.
You know, from the days gone by.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have worn these boots. I wouldn't like to say I'm 99.9% certain, but I'm not far short. Yeah. So, the Daily Mail rang me when they went on sale, when they were to go on sale. So I told him this. I said this to him. Oh, right. So he quotes me verbatim, which is fine. I wasn't ashamed or anything. Anyway, my phone rings a couple of days later. It's the auction house. Right? I've got a feeling it might have been Christie's. It was a major auction house anyway. He goes, Gerry, if I may call you that. I said, yeah, of course. He said, I believe you've cast doubt on the authenticity of Stan Matthews' boots. So I thought, well, I'll play it close to my chest to start with. And I went, have I? You see? He went, yes. He said, it's in the Daily Mail. Oh, right. Yeah, I think I did. I knew damn well I did. Yeah. Anyway, The bloke wasn't annoyed, particularly. He wasn't annoyed. He asked me for an explanation as to why, and I told him, and he couldn't argue with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended quite chattily. No hard feelings or anything on either side. No problem. Anyway, they go for auction, and what do they sell for? £35,000.
Wow.
Right? So who rings me? The Daily Mail.
Yeah.
Well, Gerry, what do you think now? So I came up with what I thought was a reasonable get out statement.
Right.
I said, yes, it's interesting, isn't it? I said, I think the best thing I can say is, right, they've gone on sale, they've sold for £35,000. The auctioneer is delighted because he's got commission on a very good sale. The vendor is absolutely delighted because he's got a very good sum for his object.
Yeah.
I said, and the buyer believes that these are Stan Matthews' boots from the 1953 Cup final, so he's very happy.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win-win all round.
Yeah.
Well, they went, yes, I've never thought of looking at it like that.
Yeah.
I said, no, but that's the situation, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's clear as day,
Never
really,
mind
isn't it?
what I've said.
No, exactly. The facts,
doesn't matter,
aren't they?
does it?
No, exactly.
No.
It's all. I think just art in general is always about like what that other person's willing to buy for
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Spend
It is.
anyway,
Yeah.
isn't it? So
It is.
it's probably similar.
Yeah.
One thing I'm keen to touch on, Gerry, is you've done an amazing career as a published author, but you've also, that's opened doors to quite a lot of other things like public speaking and different little things that you've done since being a public, a professional author.
Right, I'll give you some background to that now then. Early on, I was in the press box at Old Trafford and a chap called Bill Holt was doing Radio Lancashire. Now, Bill Holt, I knew him. I'd got to know him in later times. He's about in his 60s then. But he was a professional cricketer at Blackpool in 1958 when I was a boy. And when they announced his appointment, I said to my dad, who the heck's Bill Holt? Because we'd been having big stars like Hanif Mohammed, Pankaj Roy, Rohan Kanai. Bill Holt, who is he? He was Lancashire second team player. Okay, right. He didn't do very well, unfortunately. But I got to know him in later life. So I'm in the press box with him one day and he's on Radio Lancashire and he says, oh, Gerry, I'm going to have to go for a pee. Can you just hang on the microphone? If they come through, tell them a score or whatever, do something. I'll be away for 5 minutes or so, I thought, well, they won't come through. So off he goes. Sure enough, I'm sat there. Bill, are you there? Oh, God. No, I'm afraid he's inconvenienced at the moment. Can I help you? Yes, he said, can we have a quick comment on what the score is? So I thought, well, I suppose you better have one then. So I give him a quick comment and a score. And he goes, thanks very much. And off he goes. So Bill comes back. Did anybody ring? Did anybody call? Yeah. I said, they did. He said, what did you do? I said, well, I told him what had happened. Oh, well, that's all right. I'm okay then. Yeah. So that was my, not an introduction from it, but the real introduction was more interesting than that in a way. We were at Cheltenham, where we went every year, 13, 14 days on the trot. And this particular day, a guy comes and we sat in the pavilion, passageway for the players there, and anybody coming along. This bloke comes along with a mic, wants a bit of, what do they call it, Vox Populi or whatever it is, a comment from the people. So he goes, I'm here from the BBC and I just would like a couple of comments on what's going on or whatever. So he leans over me. I'm at the end. He leans over me and looks, It has a couple of comments from people. And then he says, as he's pulling his mic away, he comes to me and says, and what about you, sir? You see? So I go, yeah. No, I give him some comments. And he said, if you don't mind me saying, he said, that's not a West Country accent. No, I said, I'm a Lancastrian. I just come to the festival every year, you see.
Yeah.
Oh, right, he said, and a bit more chat. Off he goes. That was that. Less than an hour later, another bloke comes along. I'm looking for Gerry Wolstenholme, you see. So I'm sat there and I think, well, I'm not saying a word. But I'm with 20 people who know me.
Yeah.
So I had no chance in the end.
No.
He's there. This is him, you know. I thought, oh, God, what's this going to be? And he said, Gerry, he said, I've just been listening to a chat you've had with one of my men. This is the producer. One of my men, he said, and I wondered if you'd like to come and do a little bit of commentary for us. So I go, are you sure? He went, oh, yeah. Do a 20-minute stint or whatever. Oh, right. So you can imagine the 20 people with me, men and women, all my age and that, and Linda sat there. Linda never said a word. Go on, Gerry, you know, go on. Because he's not speaking quietly, he's speaking it out. And go on, Gerry, go and do it. We'll get our radios out and have a listen, you see. So I went, well, if you're sure, he said, well, I'd like you to summarise for 20 minutes and see how it goes. Okay, right, yeah. So I go up. He said, come up at 12 o'clock or whatever it was. So I go up and he introduces me to the commentator, Graham Day, smashing bloke. Not the greatest cricket, a great cricket knowledge, I'll be honest. One time a bloke's chasing a ball down to the boundary. He said, somebody's chasing it to the boundary there. He said, I don't know who it is, but he's got a short name on the back of his shirt. And I thought, that's very good. And then another time he goes, and it's gone to mid-on, and I wrote quickly a note, mid-off. Yeah. He was a smashing bloke, though. Yeah. And so get sat down, and off we go. Chatted away. He'd speak to me, and I'd answer and talk to the audience, and that was that. But after I'd got finished, everybody down below, all my lot are all with the radios on listening, you know, and they come back, hey, you know, I went, shut up. And anyway, cut a long story short, it ended up in about 4 or 5 years, ball by ball commentary.
Great.
Each festival, you know, 20-minute stints here and there. Yeah, so that's how I got into the radio. And then I persuaded them to do a programme. There was a special game one year. And I said, look, we should do something like, because I got to know them all then, and I didn't mind saying things then.
Yeah.
We should do something about the anatomy of a game. I said, I'll come down at 4 o'clock in the morning and get the first person in the queue, because it was going to be a big game, a lot of people there. I'll get the first person in the queue. I'll get the security people to tell me how they've handled the night, because there was no lock-up here at Cheltenham. You had to have security there. I said, I'll speak to the caterers and do this, that, and the other,
whole
you
team
see.
that bring it together. Yeah.
So they went, well, yeah, sounds like, okay, we can do it. Yeah, we'll see what it is. Okay, right. So I'm down. Linda said, I'm not coming with you at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, I'll be with her on that one.
She said, I'll come along at 9 o'clock like normal when I'm ready, you know. So I said, okay, then don't worry. So I'm down there at 4 o'clock.
Wow.
First person in the audience has come from Tunbridge Wells in Kent. Oh, you've travelled a long way, chat with them and all that, right? So I go around doing all these people. I speak to a couple of the players. I speak to Graham Gooch's dad, who can't get a seat. So I get him a ticket and get him a seat.
Oh, wow.
So that he sat down, and Graham comes over to me later and says, hey, thanks for looking after me dad. You know? I said, well, I thought it's ridiculous that he can't get a seat and he's your dad. You're captain of the opposition, for goodness sake.
Exactly.
You know, so I interview all sorts of celebrities, Clive Lloyd, Fred Titmus, couple of radio presenters, and Linda doesn't know what's going on.
No.
I'm doing this independently. So at night we play it back in the hotel. Where's all these come from, you know? I said, well, I've been picking them up as I've been going round. But there was a big but. I had a spare ticket from a friend of mine. He said, can you get rid of this for me? I said, well, I'll take it to the gate and get the gateman to get rid of it for you. Yeah. He said, would you mind? I said, no, of course I won't. So I'd interviewed the gatemen anyway, by the way, so they knew me. So I go along, I give him this. He said, I can't do it. We're not allowed to do that. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I've got this spare ticket. I'll be in and around here all the time. If you find somebody who wants one, come and get me.
Yeah.
So after a while, I'm still got the mic and that with me and speaking to people. He comes along. I'd just spoken to a friend of mine, lovely guy, writer, but I say it politely, a little bit dull in conversation.
Okay.
So I'm very careful what I say to him. I won't give his name because he might listen to it, mightn't he?
Don't want that.
Dave.
He might listen to it. So I see him and I say, hey, what about a few words? I'm just collecting some comments to do a program, you see. Yeah, of course. So he starts, I ask him a few questions like we're doing and it goes okay. Then he starts rambling a bit and I think, good grief. So I press the pause button. Okay. I'll wait till he's finished. He'll not know I've paused. So that goes on and he eventually stops. I was going to say shuts up, but that's okay. He stops. And this guy then comes to me to get this bloke's ticket. So I go out there and there's a guy there in his 40s or perhaps 50s. I said, yeah, I've got the ticket. He said, how much do you want? I think it was 11 quid at the time. And Steve only wanted £11. He didn't want to make a profit.
No.
I said, just the £11. And I said, I'll take it to the lad who's asked me to get rid of it for him. Are you sure? Because it was a sellout.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, of course we're sure. I said, by the way, as a matter of interest, I'm doing a bit of a program. I said, can I ask you, where have you come from?
Yeah.
I said, it'll make a nice little story.
Yeah.
And he said, this will give you the date of it. He said, the Falkland Islands. He was in the troops out there.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
The Falklands Islands, I say. Well, what's your name? You know. So he tells me his name and I say, well, before I was going to start with the mic, I go, well, you're going to be the furthest travelled spectator today. That's without a doubt.
Yeah.
You see. So he goes, I said, okay. So I go, well, I've got Gerry Woolstone with me here and I think he's probably, without a doubt, the most travelled spectator of the day.
Yeah.
Where have you come from, Gerry? And he goes, the Falkland Islands. And I go, well, I don't think there'll be much doubt about that. So we have a chat about his getting there and the game and all that. And then I say, well, where are you going to sit after this? So I bet you're delighted to get a ticket, aren't you? And then he says the punchline. I've got it for my son. He said, if we can only get one, he'll have to come in and I'll stay outside.
Oh, no.
And I went, and you've travelled from the Falklands? Well, that's... I said, I'm not sure I could be as magnanimous as that. All credit to you, you see.
Absolutely. What a
And
guy.
off he goes.
Yeah.
So I go back in. Phew, that was good. I thought, that's a great little story to add to the day. I've still got the pause button on.
No.
No.
Oh,
That's
Gerry.
what I'd do, isn't it? Oh, my God.
I've been there. It's horrible.
Gerry. It's all a memory.
So I can tell the story with no name or anything.
No.
Yeah. I've not got his name and his speech, you know.
We've got a great memory, though, there.
Oh, I was absolutely gutted.
I bet you was.
When I played it at night to Linda and a couple of my mates who'd come back with us, they were astonished. Well, where do you get Clive Lloyd and that? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so, and then Radio Gloucester, who I was doing all this for, rang me when Gloucester came up to Old Trafford. Are you going to the game, Gerry, on Saturday? And I said, yeah, I am. He said, do you mind doing half-hourly updates for us, please? I went, no, not at all. I said, the only problem is just about the changeover of mobile phones. I have no mobile phone. I've got one from the office. It's a brick, but I can't get that.
No.
Because I think he was ringing me Friday night or whatever. So I said, yeah, I'll go and borrow a mobile phone off a mate. And I borrowed one of these big ones, you know. And I took that with me. So I'll ring you at 12 o'clock, he said. I rang him and gave him the number. I'll ring you at 12 o'clock. Yeah, okay, we'll start at 12. So he rings me at 12 o'clock. And we've got Gerry Woolstone today. He said, I'll plug you in after the news.
Yeah.
So he said, I'll put the news on so you can listen and you'll be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, about 5 minutes will do, he said, each time. Every half hour I'll be ringing you. Yep, no problem. So comes. And now over to Gerry Wilson at Old Trafford to see what's happened in the Lancashire-Gloucestershire game. Yes, I said here at Old Trafford, and I run through what's happened. No notes, because I don't believe in notes.
No.
I'm sorry. No notes, so I go this, that and the other, this, that and the other. Da, da, da. No problem, finish. Every half hour he does this. Then he comes back, tea time. Yep. And to update you what's gone on since you were last here, I said, so-and-so's out for such a thing, so-and-so's out for such... And then I said, and there's one more wicket. And damn it, I can't think of who it was just off at the moment. So I carried on talking about something else.
Yeah.
And then I went, you know how you do when suddenly it's hit you?
Yeah.
I suddenly go, oh, I know. It was Jack Russell caught by Ian Austin off Peter Lever or whatever, you see. And that was that. No problem, really. I'd just gone, damn it, I've forgotten. The guy sitting next to me was from the Manchester Evening News, who I knew very well. He said, I had to laugh when you said that about, damn it, I've forgotten it. He said, because I was commentating on Manchester United at Old Trafford one night a few months ago. Mm-hmm. This is in the 90s. And he said, they came to me at half-time for the score and that. And I said, yes, United are winning 3-0. I gave them 2 of the goal scorers. He said, and for some reason then, my mind went a complete blank.
Yeah.
I couldn't even think of a player to just say.
It's horrible when that happens.
So he said, I went, and Bobby Charlton, who'd retired 10 years previously. You see.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
So I laughed and said, oh, well, I feel a bit better now.
Exactly that.
The last operation of the day was quite funny. I don't wear a watch, never have a watch. No clock I can see anywhere.
No.
He comes in and he said, right, Gerry, this was 5:30. He said, last call of the day, 6 o'clock news. Mm-hmm. He said, I want a 30-second quick summary of the day. Everything that's gone on in the day. 30 seconds. I'm sitting there thinking, I've no watch. And I thought, well, I'll blag it and guess 30 seconds. So, obviously, I must have thought of what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I must have done, because, again, plugs me in. And over to Gerry Wilson home at Old Trafford for the last report of the day there. How's it gone, Gerry? Yes, well, this happened, that happened, the other happened. So-and-so got this, he got that, he got the other, blah, blah, blah. Thank you and good night. I didn't say that, but that was it.
Yeah.
So that leaves us at whatever.
Yeah.
Before he cuts off, the producer comes back on. Gerry, I can't tell you, he said. 29 seconds, he said. Absolutely superbly. Wow. You must have got that on your watch.
Wow.
I didn't have the heart to say to him, I ain't got a watch, I just guessed it.
No.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
amazing.
Wasn't it lucky that?
That is lucky. Amazing.
Lucky.
Honestly, Jack, I could literally chat to you all day, and there's probably
there's lots more.
There is, and
much
I think we could all agree. We probably the people watching. There's so many things that we could discuss. We're gonna have to wrap it up there because I think we've already probably excessed the time of the first one.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
But it's been amazing. I've really enjoyed it, and thoroughly enjoyed it. But we've got plenty of ideas where we'd like to get connected with you again and do some more footage around some different things to find out some more stories. But I just want to say thank you, guys. The stories you've shared with us have been amazing, and I really, really value them, and I'm sure the audience will as well.
Well, all I can say is thanks very much indeed for giving me the opportunity to say it. I hope I've not let you down.
No,
never, Gerry.
No, I was worried. I was apprehensive.
Of course.
I thought, nobody wants to hear me. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Your friendship's fantastic. I love it.
Oh,
and I'll be delighted to do anything else you ever ask. If I'm capable of doing it, no problem. Thank you very much indeed, both of you.
Thank you, Gerry.
Fantastic event. I've loved it. And I just hope the listeners will get some pleasure out of it and something useful out of it.
I'm sure they will.
Well, that was it. I was just going to say, like, this podcast is called A Lifetime of Wisdom, and we always ask, like, our guests at the end, like, is there one piece of advice you can give to someone just for a lifetime of wisdom? Yeah,
one nugget of wisdom.
One nugget.
Well, I'm a big believer, and it's a simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability.
Amen.
Perfect.
Amen
Perfect.
to that.
Thank you very much, Gerry.
Thank you,
Really
Gerry.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
And thanks again.
Yeah.